Your phone. Yeah, that's it. I did see
Clouds
that.
are not clouds. Thank you.
When clouds are not clouds.
And it was talking about spaceships.
I'm live.
Oh,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all don't be talking about people that are watching.
Okay. We will not share anybody else's business.
Try not to. Unless something happens to Chris again.
Again, yeah. Talk about it.
Okay. So this one is, this Torah portion is called Noach, obviously because it's about Noah and the flood story. It's probably one of my favorite because there's not any commandments in this one, really. And I know that's not, it's not the reason. It's not the reason why it's my favorite. It's that the fact that there's no commandments in this one. There's a lot of mysteries involved and things that we don't have to nail down perfectly, right, to make sure we got it right, or do our best to get it right. It leaves us open to a lot of interpretations. Your mind can just run with different ideas on how some of this stuff can actually happen.
That's kind of what I was trying to say. Like last time with the whole creation. I mean,
Creation
we
can
try to decipher what makes the most sense with what the rest of the word is. But
that's right.
Until one day we'll see.
That's right. Yeah, that leads into
you try to make it use his word later to make sense of why it would be laid out the way.
That's right. That leads into this. I wasn't going to read this right now, but I will now because of what you just said. Y'all probably all know this. It's in Deuteronomy 29, the very last verse, 29. It says, "The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things that are revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law." So that means, yes, there are mysteries, there are secrets that only God knows, that we can ponder on and we can talk and discuss and kind of come up with our own ideas, but they're not the ones that matter, right? But the things that are revealed, so the things that we can read in His Torah and His law, that we know, there's not any room for interpretation. It is a performative commandment or a non-performative commandment, right? Mm-hmm. Something you do or something you don't do. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that are for us and our children forever, it says, right?
Well, I think you can just see that in science in general. It's man's trying to understand the mind of God. That's
they don't even realize
all
that.
Out to the molecule, to the
they don't even realize it.
Galaxies. You're trying to figure out something that your mind is not supposed to.
Yeah.
It's like just focus on these things, and we'll
that's right.
Get to these things at the end. It's like nothing wrong with looking into them, but when that is what you're focusing on, you miss how to walk out your life.
Exactly.
Spend your life looking into the secret things, trying to let you.
You get obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know.
Well, not those secret things. But I'm talking from a science, like the worldly mind.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about too, buddy. You just wait. You just wait.
I think it's cool when science backs up what his word is.
It proves God.
It's like, how can it not?
Yep, that's right. It proves God. Your cat. Okay, cat's asking you that.
I hadn't seen her in a week. John found her yesterday for me. Make you pray.
Yes, I'm about to. In fact, let's go ahead and pray real quick. Heavenly Father, Yah, thank you for your Shabbat, Father. We thank you for this rest that we have. Just like the name of Noah, Lord, he is rest, right? You are our rest, Father. You give us this day to get into your word and to fellowship together and learn from one another, Father. Thank you for that. Father, I just ask that you be with us today and give us wisdom and discernment, Father. Reveal to us what you want to reveal to us today, and Lord, I just ask that you be with us for this next week, Father. I also ask, Father, that I know there's those that need healing amongst us, Father. I ask for your healing hand to be upon them. Give them comfort, Lord. Any other needs that those of us may have, Father, I ask that you just answer those needs, Father, if it's your will. And Father, I just ask that you help us to be a light to others, Lord, that we can help draw others to your Son, Yeshua, as their Messiah, Father. And I pray all this in His name. Amen.
Amen.
All
She
right.
got some prayer requests.
I know, and I right when I was praying, I was like, man, I wish I'd thought about asking if there were prayer requests, but
No, it's
She's
my
got a
cat.
cat.
oh, I was sitting here.
She's asking
I was
for
like, I'm
John.
trying to think. I was trying to remember
She's my
everybody.
cat, and I love her. Nobody else in this house loves this cat but me. But guess who she loves? John. Guess who she sleeps with when she comes in at night? John. I can't even find her. She's up there either in between his legs or on top of his head.
And I don't even like cats.
And he don't even like her. Well, I don't like any cat.
No cats. No cats.
But I don't mind he'd sleep on my husband's chest. It would make me just as mad for her.
She sleeps above my head on the pillow.
Please get off the table. Get off the table. You heard me.
All right. So, like we were talking about earlier, there's these secrets, I guess you could call them, mysteries in the scriptures. The sages say there are 4 levels of understanding the Torah, right? And they also say there's 70 faces, and you brought it up last week, 70 faces of the Torah. Just, that's a statement meaning that, okay, there's 70 ways you can read the Torah. And a generation is kind of known to be 70 years. So if you were to start, read the Torah cycle every year, you take your whole life before you ever even get close to understanding all of it, right? But these 4 basic levels, though, that they talk of, the names of those are Peshat, that is the plain understanding. This is because the Torah, it should be as easy enough for a 5-year-old to understand. And this story is one of them that's a good example of it, right? We've got the story of Noah on the boat and the Tower of Babel, right? And the people are scattered and they can't understand each other. Boom, that's it. You know what I mean? That's a wonderful way of understanding it. You still grasp what God did and kind of where we are in the world in His timeline. So, and then the next level is the Remez. So the Remez understanding is the allegorical meanings.
Y'all, this has been going on since 5 o'clock this morning. I'm so sorry.
The dogs are calling.
Absolutely insane.
But they're gone up front, so I don't know why they're kind of acting crazy. But anyway, the allegorical meaning is what that Remez level of understanding is, right? And then the one above that one would be the Drosh. The Drosh is the moral and the imperative sense of the text. So how does it apply morally to you, right? How does this Torah portion apply to you? Whatever. So, and then the level that kind of we're going to go into a little bit today is the Sod. And
are you ready for that?
Well, that's another thing that the sages say. They do say you should not attempt to Sod until you have a good grasp of the other levels, right? So, we're still going to try to dabble into it today, just because this is a good one to dip your toes into with that kind of thing.
I'm sorry. Pastor Chad says that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John represent the 4 different levels, and John, your favorite book.
That spiritual light level.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
100% believe that.
That makes total sense that he would be on, because he is more of a spiritual,
very spiritual
in his writing.
He's the revelation.
Exactly. Yeah.
He gets it.
That's wild.
He gets that.
I've never heard of that relation. So that's the mystical or the esoteric meaning of the Torah. And really, just a little cool note that I found in this article here on the 70 faces of the Torah. If you take those 4 levels, right, and you take the acronym there, that PRDS, right, is Parde. Okay.
No, oh my gosh.
Okay.
She never does that. Never.
It's okay.
So, Parde, its meaning is orchard or garden. And it's said to be a reference to the ultimate restoration of mankind in the restored Garden of Eden or paradise. Right? I mean, let's think about the English word paradise, Parde. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So once you kind of grasp all those levels of the Torah, it's like you're just welcoming in the part of the paradise.
I don't remember who said it. I don't think it was Pastor Chad. They said that the Pardes changes the meaning of when Jesus said to the thief on the cross, "Today
Yep.
you will be with me in paradise."
Right.
So, because Jesus was a rabbi. So
Yeah.
that day, he didn't know, because he was old heathen, okay?
Right.
But
Yeah.
Jesus is fitting to teach you, so just get ready. 'Cause
Right.
today you will be with me in paradise. I
Yeah.
just thought that was cool. So
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
The
That's-
connection.
That's a cool connection for sure. Yeah. Yep.
I don't think it was Pastor Chad.
Um.
But I can't remember who it was. Maybe.
All right. So I'll put this mess up.
Y'all, I'm sorry, it's just good stuff. Genesis, I wish we could do like one chapter.
Yeah,
I know.
There's so daggone
so
much you can't.
We're going to go through chapter 6, verse 9, all the way through chapter 11
Yeah.
today. And last
Yeah.
week was another one that you're like, really, all that in one? 'Cause- anyway, yeah.
It's hard to focus on what the.
Yeah,
You can't go through all of it and then break it down
Yeah.
in one sitting.
Yeah.
Just like Adam's portion last time was like, there's so many juice. What direction?
What subject do you
Yeah.
want to go with?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. What are you doing over there? Oh, okay.
You're passing about 20 minutes.
Thought you were outside the camp for a little while. I didn't know if you were unclean over there. So before we even, I'm still not even gonna get started yet. So there's a big introduction to this, along with a big Torah portion.
That's all right.
All right, so I'm gonna attempt to. I'm not gonna teach y'all quantum physics, but I'm gonna introduce you to it. Okay. This is-
Don chose to go.
This is so okay. The reason why is because it gives us a good understanding of how some of these things in this Torah portion can be if you start asking the questions that a lot of people will ask, such as, how can all these animals fit on a boat of only this size? Which, if you actually did the math, it's not a very big boat. It's a big boat for its time, yes.
Right.
Probably never seen a boat that big in that time.
They even
But- They even have a boat, right? See, is it really? It's an ark. Exactly. No rudder. I mean, there's no rudder. No way to steer, right? And it's not. I mean, if you compare the size to what the ships we have today, it's not that big, right? Cargo ships today are probably 5 times as big.
Okay.
So it's only 75 feet high. And it's only, what was it, 1.5 football fields long, I think, or something like that. So it's not that big. When you're talking about all the animals coming.
Oh, right.
And there's
yeah,
some different
okay.
theories there on that. And I'll talk about both sides. I'll talk about this, what we should consider an esoteric, mystical side to it, and a more, maybe a more logical side as well. Okay. But to get on this mystical side of things, we gotta first address the reality of the world we live in and how we understand it. Okay, so first I'm gonna go over string theory. All right, string theory it started in the 1940s, and there was a few physicists that went with this theory and tried to do the math and figure it out, and what their understanding was okay, on the molecular level, right? We've got atoms, right, and you've got photons and neutrons, right, and they are considered to be these spherical things, right? little tiny balls on a molecular level that we can't see with our naked eye, obviously. And that makes up all the matter in the universe. Well, they came up with this theory that instead of these being just spherical objects of mass, that they are in fact strings at the most finite level of reality. Okay, smaller than we can even imagine them being, and they're balls of these strings rather than a solid mass. Okay, these strings are vibrating at frequencies that cause them to present themselves as either a neutron, a proton, or an electron, right? Okay, but the only way that they can get the math to work was they couldn't get the math to work out right in our three-dimensional space that we live in. We live in a three-dimensional space of length, width, and height, or depth, however you want to say it. Right? There's three dimensions: X, Y, and Z. All right? The math wouldn't work. So they decided, okay, if our universe doesn't work with this theory, with just our three-dimensional space, we're going to make a universe with more dimensions of space and work out the math equations that way. And they come up with, eventually, because this theory developed in the 40s, which is when you would have had all the things like Einstein, right? Those just unbelievable minds that worked on things like the Manhattan Project. And you had his theory of relativity, that E equals mc squared, right? And that's energy equals mass times the square root of light. It's telling us that energy and mass are interchangeable, right? So mass holds energy, and energy can be mass as well, okay? The reason why I'm saying that is because talking about those frequencies, right? Vibrations, that's energy. And this energy becomes mass. That's why it presents itself. The energy in it, in this ball of string, presents itself as a certain mass. Okay? So they developed this during the 40s, and then it kind of fell away. 50s, it just kind of fell it off there to nothing. People gave up on it. 60s and 70s, it disappeared. Late 80s, it came about again. Some people with new ideas, they started to come up with ways to work the equations out. And then in the 90s, the late 90s, so pretty recent, well, for us old folks, I guess, they figured out that to make the equations work, that there was a possibility of 10 to 11 dimensions, depending on who was doing the math and who was working on the theory. It was basically come down to 10 to 11 dimensions of reality to make these equations work. All right. So that's where it leads us into, is the idea of there's a possibility of multiple dimensions other than what we know today, of just the three spatial dimensions. And just like Einstein said, there's also a fourth dimension, which is time. Okay? So we live in a world of length, width, height, and time. Time has to be a dimension according to him because it is part of how we know where we are. Just like those measurements let us know where we are. You take the globe and you break it up into X, Y, and Z. We can come up with an exact coordinate of where we are. But if Adam and I want to meet somewhere, I can't just give him a coordinate. I have to give him a time. If I say, hey, meet me at Bojangles tomorrow, what's he going to do? Go there and sit there all day long and wait for me? Right? So I have to say, meet me at Bojangles at 1:30. Bam, we got it. But if I say, hey, meet me at 1:30 tomorrow, where? We're just wandering around all day long looking? So you have to have those four pieces. That's what we live in. The world we live in is four dimensions, or our reality is four dimensions. Now, and all this stuff you can look up. It's all on, I've got it all. There's talking about vibrations. We're going to get into that later in Leviticus probably. But there's a Dr. Yeller. She was actually a Jewish doctor that did a study. Can't remember what year she did it. It was very recent, 2005, I think, where she realized she had equipment to measure frequencies. And us as humans have a frequency of around 100. A healthy human has around 100. And she was doing a study because of the Levitical command of not wearing wool and linen together. And her study showed that linen had a frequency of 5,000 megahertz. Wool had the exact same, 5,000 megahertz. But when you put them on together, she said the frequency went to zero because they cancel each other out. Okay, so that's just proof that this whole string theory thing holds some weight, even though we haven't. No one has really completely, made it a solid, no longer a theory but a fact, right? But it holds some weight there. Okay. So
when you talk about string theory, have you ever seen a star under a telescope?
That's right.
It literally looks like
a star.
When I picture what
ball of
an
yarn
atom
vibrating.
would actually look like if you could see it.
A ball
also,
of yarn.
Reminds me of a seraphim.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm saying. So, yes. All right. I'm going to attempt real quick. I know we're dragging it on, but anyway, I'm going to try to do this fast. Okay. Because I want us to understand the concept of that if there is other dimensions, how do they relate to us and how do we relate to it or those, right? Okay, let's say there is a being that exists with only one dimension, right? One dimension means there's only one dimension of measurement. Line X, left to right, okay? So if you've got a line, well, you know what? Hold on. We'll do it in the middle.
Want the big one?
Would it work better?
Let me get it for you.
Okay.
I've already put it up. We use it here to see Bible study.
Oh,
Might
boy.
as well use it.
All right.
Well, heck yeah.
This is from Bible study.
Hold up, Vanna White.
That's what we
Vanna.
Who were we telling who Vanna White was the other day?
I don't
Who were
remember.
we explaining
And they
it
were
to?
like-
Was it you, Natalie? Was it Natalie?
Well, we were watching Wheel of Fortune and she's still on there. You know what I mean?
Oh,
We were
my
like,
God,
what in
she's
the
got to be
world?
100.
I know. Yeah. Okay.
Try this. Maybe it's right.
Okay. So, a one-dimensional being is existing in a one-dimensional reality to them, right? So, that dimension is that line. They are here. Okay, that line would be what we call the x-axis. That being, I don't think that they can see it.
Can't borrow it.
That being it only exists in one dimension, can only see that way or that way, right? I'm going to try to redo this and maybe it shows up better. There's that one-dimensional being. It can only see that way and that way. If you were that being and you were could live in this one dimension, everything you see would be a dot, basically. Okay, theoretically a dot. And if you wanted to see behind you, if you turned, because in your brain your reality doesn't exist left or right, you would not see anything until you were facing the other way and you see a dot. That's all you could see. That's how your reality is. Okay. Now, a two-dimensional. Well, first of all, if I wanted to stop this being from moving, and I am in a three-dimensional world, okay. So think about there's dimensions above us, okay. Mm-hmm. I am in a dimensions above this creature. This creature, I want to stop it from moving. I want to trap it. I would put a block there and a block there. It can't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But me, I can see looking down on this one-dimensional object, and I can say, well, why don't you just go left or right and go around it? It can't understand that concept. Mm-hmm. It doesn't exist in its world. But in my world, it does. I know it can do it. Mm-hmm. But it can't, because it doesn't know it exists. Now this object is going to live in a two-dimensional world. So now it has two dimensions of reality, X and Y. Now there is a left and a right and a forward and a back. Okay? Mm-hmm. The two blocks I've got there don't work forward any longer. It now can go left. It can go on that way if it wants to. Or it can go that way and back that way. That's where we get those X and Y coordinates for something if we want to know where it's at in this world. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So if I want to trap this object, I draw a box around it. He can't get outside the box now. I'm still in a dimension above this creature still, because he's living in a plane. A two-dimensional plane is what this would be now, right? If you were this object in this two-dimensional plane, you could only see in a plane. Mm-hmm. Okay, so your view would be this, because you don't have an existence of view from up and down now. We haven't introduced that yet. We've only introduced left, right, forward, and back, right? Mm-hmm. So everything, if you were living in this world, you can only see a line in front of you, because that's the plane you live in, right? Mm-hmm. And so objects, that's how they would appear to you, in shades, right? If they were close or far from you, they would be bright if they were close, shaded if they were dark. Things that could come into your realm from outside, they would, if they came in from above, but you don't have that in your reality, but they entered into your realm, into your dimensional realm, they would become, as they got into your plane, they would become brighter and brighter and then darker and darker as they left. See what I'm saying? Okay. Now, going back to this, how do we trap it? We draw a box around it. Go ahead. You got something?
The 119 ministry things, I'm starting to understand why everything is shaped. When you watch the video, you'll see it's shaped like oblong. is shaped like a Tylenol pill.
Oh.
All the things.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Like
All right.
UFOs
Yeah.
look like oblong
Big
discs.
Tylenols.
Yeah, like Tylenols.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So this two-dimensional being is living in this two-dimensional plane. We want to trap it. We don't want it to go nowhere. We drew the box around it, right? Mm-hmm. Now he can't get by going forward or back or left or right. But we still live in a realm dimensional realm above it. Mm-hmm. So we're like, hey, why don't you just go above it and go over the wall I just put around you, or go under the wall that I just put in front of you, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. They don't know that. Okay, so now let's try and draw this three-dimensionally. I'm going to have to do this on another sheet.
Okay, it's got more pads.
Okay, I need Addison drawing this.
Yeah, Addison, you know how to draw a cube?
So, now, okay, I'm gonna get you to draw a cube in a minute. Hold on. So, we're gonna first start again with the two dimensions, but now we're gonna add a third in here, right? And I don't know if that explains that very well, but that one is okay. Let's call that the forward and back again. That's X, right? Mm-hmm. This would be the left and right. Okay, so that's Y. And now this is Z. Okay, that's up and down. That's the world we live in right now. Okay, so if I'm over here in this three-dimensional world, I can give someone an X, a Y, and a Z coordinate. They know exactly where I am on this globe. If someone wants to trap me, how would they do it?
Third-dimensional box.
Exactly.
Put you in a cube.
Right? Put you in a. It's what a cage is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's what a prison is. It's got walls, a ceiling,
Yeah.
and and floor. Okay, Addison.
Go draw the cube, girl. Around the dot. Around
Here,
John.
come draw the cube. Okay.
I could show you a
You want
picture
to hold
of
it? You want
John's
to hold it?
cube.
You got it? Okay. This is gonna be a long video, but
That's okay. I ain't got nothing better to do today.
I guess not.
It's probably perfect.
Absolutely perfect. Okay, so
Oh my
Perfect.
there is the cube,
Yep.
and that is the cube that this three-dimensional being is in. So, how do we get out of this box?
You better have a different time.
Exactly.
You can't get out of it. In our dimension.
Our dimension, we cannot.
Unless
So,
you were at a different time.
A being living in the that lives in a fourth dimension, right? They have access to all those dimensions below, like we just described ourselves as having. We have access to all those ones before, right? That they didn't have access to. A being that's above us, okay, would say, well, wait a minute, there's another dimension there that you haven't tapped into. It's time. If you want to get out of the box, just go to a time before, or go to a time after, when you're out of the box. Before the box existed.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yep.
that's my point, is that as you move up in dimensions, there is access to other things that the beings that live in dimensions below you don't have access to, but they still exist.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know it.
Because we can't see them.
We can't see them.
That's the spiritual realm.
Right. Okay. I hope that explains everything. Okay. So, like string theory is telling us, if it's true, there's 10 to 11 dimensions. All right. Now.
So I wonder what's available in the other dimension.
Right.
Wonder.
What is available in the other dimensions?
I think we see it a little bit in the Bible, but we can't grasp it.
This whole Torah portion, the first story and the second story, the flood and the Tower of Babel, is a perfect example of the possibilities of these other dimensions and what they have access
Perfect
to.
example with Yeshua after he died.
Yes, and yeah, you can go to. I'm not going to turn to it right now because it takes me too long and it's already dragging out. But we know that after Yeshua resurrected, and the apostles were in that room and they had the doors locked. It doesn't say what he did, but it says the doors were locked because they were in fear of the Jews around them because of who they were and everything that happened, right? And Yeshua appeared amongst them in the room. And it made a point to tell us the doors were locked.
Yeah.
Why? Okay. And it's kind of accepted that, okay, well, this must be Yeshua. He's a resurrected being. He is now he was of flesh, the Word made flesh.
Yes.
He was murdered on the cross. And now he is resurrected, which is a picture of our resurrection. So think about what it tells us in Scripture in the New Testament. We're given new bodies. At the resurrection, the believers are resurrected. We're given new bodies, and those that are living will be given new bodies. So he should have a new body. That maybe it doesn't have to apply. It's not confined to the laws of this reality.
Exactly.
Right? Because he has access now to all the dimensions.
Correct.
Okay? And so maybe that's a possibility for us, is all I'm saying. He can pass through matter. We just talked about at the molecular level and these atoms existing with strings, balls of strings, possibly vibrating at different frequencies and presenting themselves just because of the frequency they create as a different object, because of the energy that the frequency makes. Because of E equals
And
MC
everything
squared,
has a different
energy
frequency.
equals mass. So if it has a different energy, it's a different type of mass.
Yeah.
Right. So it creates something different. So maybe he can pass through matter. So,
Something you said about the time and or something like it's just a idea that a lot of people have had. Like, okay, when Moses goes to the Mount Hermon, the Transfiguration, was it Elijah?
mm-hmm.
And then
Right.
Yeshua.
Yeah.
They say
I like
that
this.
how that. Am I still in your thunder?
No,
Okay.
you're not. I had forgotten it, and now you're bringing it up. And I love it. That's so cool.
Okay, like how
forgot
Moses
that.
and Elijah knew so much and believed so hardly in the Messiah coming is because when they were all there at the same time.
Yep.
And but it was in
Different times.
in this
Exactly.
line, but in that line they were all there getting the same message.
Yep.
And how they. I
That's
don't know,
amazing.
That's just I don't know. It's really cool.
I've forgotten all about that.
To show that example, you pull them out of this line,
Man.
go there, but then they come back.
Yeah.
They see it, and then it's back.
Yeah.
But the word was given in that same
Exactly.
in that realm, that box,
Exactly.
and then they brought it back to this dimension, and that's I don't know.
Yep.
Because it was all at the same place.
Exactly.
It was all at the same place.
So they were all there at the same place, but on different timelines, but on the same timeline. They enter.
Intersect.
Right.
Yes.
And I can't back that up, but it's a cool thought.
Well, it's the idea of this kind of thing right here, right? I like this example myself. If we have a car traveling down the road, right, and if I can explain this. So you have a car traveling down the road, and there's an intersection in the road, and it passes through the intersection, and a few seconds later, then the truck passes through, right? Those two things, objects, were at the same place, just at different times. And now, when you wouldn't say, like we were talking about, wouldn't say we almost died, right? Because they weren't at the same time. But you can, I'm trying to think if I'm explaining that good enough.
I don't know, you did amazing the other night. I cannot repeat
Yeah,
this. I wish
but
I would.
it's the fact that you end up with these two things in different dimension, in different realms, I guess you could say, right? That now they pass through the intersection at the same time and they collide.
And they see each other.
Right?
Isn't that wild?
It's but that happens around us every day.
Yeah.
Running into somebody. What's the chances? Anyway, the way that the time dimension can work. There's a theory on looping over.
Yeah.
I don't know how
And
to
it
explain
closes
that one.
together.
Right.
I remember cutting something out of paper one time to describe it. And I couldn't
Yes,
make it.
it's that eternal line thing.
And that's how God
We'd
knows
have to
what
make.
happened,
You
past,
can make
present,
it
future.
with paper,
Yeah.
and it explains it better. But anyway, I don't
Basically,
know because I
like
don't have a
fold a
good
piece of paper
example.
and send a pen through it.
Yep.
Or who was it? I don't remember. Somebody like a helicopter. hovering over traffic
Can see.
can see
Yep.
everything,
Yeah.
and it's all happening now,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not necessarily now for you because you're just in one vehicle.
You're in the car.
Exactly, you're in the car. Yeah.
All you see is what's right in front of you.
Yep.
That's a perfect example, and that was another way to describe this dimensions too. Was traffic.
A line of traffic.
A line of traffic, a single lane of traffic can only go forward or back up and reverse. Right? Okay, that car is only restricted to that, but now give it 2 lanes. Now it can move over and go around a car, right?
Yeah.
But if there's something in front of you in a single lane, you can't. Okay, give it 2, now it can go left and right and zigzag and get out, and things are flowing. Now, but it still clogs up at some point. Now what do you do?
Make a bypass. Make an overpass.
Make cars that fly, right?
Yeah.
Back to the Future. So you can go over. But we did that we made cars that fly by making overpasses. Anyway. It's a low level of technology there. But anyway, and like you said with the helicopter, you can look down and see. You can see the traffic going on overpasses, and you're like, okay, yep, these are crossing over. And anyway,
Yeah.
so all right, where do I want to go from there?
You read some scripture? Are you done
Eventually.
with stuff, or are you still got more to go?
I think that pretty much. I think y'all that makes sense about different dimensions.
Yes.
This is also
Right.
probably the 3rd or 4th time I've heard it, so it takes
it
me a
should
lot
make sense
longer
to
to get it to stick.
Basically, you can see there's a possibility you can see outside the box.
Yes.
Yes.
So you're seeing-
Yes.
We're in the box, but from outside the box.
Oh!
Looking-
I know what else I wanted to mention. Okay, so that was science side. This is really cool because you were talking about we're seeing science proving God. All right. I'm going to share some Talmudic stuff. Okay, this is not scripture, but I like to look it over because it gives us insight into how the ancient people understood God's word, and they're basically sitting around just like us and discussing these things. Okay, and they're not truths. I'm going to say, right? They are commentary on what we have. So,
Commentary is very interesting.
all right, we're going to talk about Kabbalah. All right, I know that's a topic.
It can be taboo to some people.
Yeah, and that's
I just
I'm not a
think
Kabbalist.
You put it in its place.
Right, but it's interesting to know. I just took a screenshot of some research I did here. Kabbalah relates to 10 dimensions through the concept of the 10 Sephirot. Okay, and y'all can look up what a Sephirot is. It's Sefirot, and you'll see the tree of life is what they call it. Yeah. And you may have seen a picture of it, but it's these little dots, and they're connected by multiple lines, and they're all connected. And they have to do with how creation was done in like the 10 utterances and things like that, right? The 10 divine words that God spoke.
Remember we talked about 10 the other night?
So, right, 10 is or like a stamp of God, this is ordained by Him, kind of, right? So, the 10 Sephirot, which are divine attributes or emanations used to understand creation. Some modern interpretations and texts propose a connection between the Sephirot and the 10 dimensions theorized in string theory, suggesting they are 2 different models describing a 10-dimensional reality. These 10 dimensions are not seen as parallel universes, but as fundamental building blocks of existence, a concept that can be explored in various aspects, including modern biology. So, I thought that was really interesting that this is the Kabbalah stuff, the things that's written in the books like Zohar, Zohar. That's what's considered part of Kabbalah. It's written in the well, they'll contribute all the way back to Solomon, because Solomon was the wisest man. A lot of this stuff was passed down orally, but these things are written around the Middle Ages, right? We're talking about 1000 to 11, 12, the 11th, 12th centuries, okay, 11th and 12th centuries. That far back, they were talking about 10 dimensions, possibly 11. And the tree that I'm talking about has 10 of these dots, these attributes, or Sopharet is what they're called. And here we are today. It took mankind all the way to 1995-ish to even come up with the idea that, hey, there could be 10 or 11 dimensions to make our theories and our math, our equations work to explain how atoms and molecules are reacting with one another. It took that long because we had open holes in all the other molecular physics.
Wonder why. Why? Who was it here that said we're not going to believe the Jewish sages? We're not. Who said that? Why? Why did it take us to 1990? And they've been doing it since the 11th century.
Yeah, it's
which was basically the time of Jesus.
Exactly.
So
we're talking about exactly.
Y'all shut up, cause we're not doing that. Is that?
You know, it's. I think it at least needs to be seen as just like we would anyone's commentaries. People that I have respect for, Rico Cortez, I consider that's his commentary on things. I respect it. I want to hear it. I want to glean from it. And he and I may have some things that we don't see the same way and agree on.
That's what I used to ask my preacher all the time. I said, okay, you are all about some Charles Stanley commentary and Dr. David Jeremiah study Bible. What that makes them more authoritative than the Rambam?
Right. That's right. Yeah, the Rambam, Rashi.
What, you know, they were actually closer to the time of Jesus than Dr. David Jeremiah or Charles Stanley. So why would we not listen to them? Every single thing, you know, those two pastors have said cannot possibly be right. They can't be completely 100% right. The best they can do is give us like their educated opinion.
Yeah.
Same exact thing with these people way back here at the time of Jesus.
Certainly. Yeah.
So
that's right.
And y'all just ain't hearing it. And now, you know.
And, you know, I think maybe the important side of it is that we do understand that it does not hold a place equal to or above God's Torah.
That's exactly right.
Keep it at that. Yeah. If it's something that completely goes against God's commandments, no.
Throw it out.
All right.
Yeah.
If it's something that's okay, maybe that's a way of understanding something, because you will find throughout the Torah you're going to see things that don't make sense. It's not. I'm not going to say don't make sense, but there's not a full explanation given.
No.
And so we have to have someone else's maybe understanding, maybe an opinion, somewhat, to apply it to us. So anyway, that was what I
You can
wanted.
see how easily people take the same information and take it a whole different direction. It's like
That's right.
Research, it's
Yeah.
This, you know, it's
Take
in
Paul's
man's whatever to take
DNA to do that.
their own interpret. And you can read the same sentence, and you know, 5 people might have a different thing to it, and I think that's where it branches off, and then it's like, well, this has got to be this way because we think this way, and then it's like, well, I read it and I think this way, so I think I don't know, it's a hard thing to figure out.
It is.
You just see it in man's nature that it's
exactly.
It goes,
and I think we see it in Judaism, because they'll take these writings like that I have right here, Talmudic things, and they will place it above God's word because that's their interpretation.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that happens too.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the other side of it.
Well, it's the same thing with. I mean, once Yeshua came, and then that interpretation, the whole Roman, and that thing. I mean, that's that's basically putting the same. It's the same thing, just a different. You know, they put their ways of thinking.
It's kind of like our
right.
baptism in the Protestant church now. There's just so many different sects. You know, some they believe in, you know, washing feet, and some is like regular baptism, full immersion, and some of them sprinkle, and
that's right.
So it's like all different sects, like. You know, they just pick out that one little thing, and then they build a whole religion behind it.
Right.
That's why you have so many denominations.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's
thousands.
It's hard to say why that is, but it's like it's just in man's nature, and I think that's why you have to really study it.
Keep studying
from the basics
over and over again.
and do it and just see it.
That's why those different levels are important, I think, because you probably should really base your how do I want to put it? I want to say your theology. Base your theology off what you've mastered first. Start with that part, you know, that partial understanding.
Noah was there was a boat, animals got on, God
okay,
saved.
that's my theology for
God
now
saved.
until
And that's
I
good
grasp the
enough.
next level.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, it doesn't. Where does it talk about that? There will be in later day, but always be a false, something that can preach a gospel. And
Oh,
it can
yeah.
be a false gospel.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what you have to do is always test it back to the word.
Exactly. That's the important part.
To the word. Test it back to it.
Yep.
And be sure that it lines up with that. Because if you don't have a standard, to a heaven and earth end standard to test something back to, then it's never going to be anything but everybody's interpretation.
That's it.
If you don't have anything to test it back to,
Yep.
that's what God in His infinite wisdom saw. I got to give these creatures
Yeah.
a baseline. I've got to give them a baseline to go by. And
That's right.
To test it back to.
Yeah. Yep. All right. I think that covers all that. I don't even know how long we've been on, y'all, but it's been about an hour, I think.
That's all right.
So,
That's okay.
ooh. All right. So we'll get started now. It's this, like I said, his name was Noah, and Noah means rest. So keep that in mind too for the whole thing. But it's Genesis chapter 6, starts at verse 9. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with Elohim. And Noah brought forth 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the earth was corrupt before Elohim, and the earth was filled with violence. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and saw that it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And Elohim said to Noah, The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through me. And see, I am going to destroy them from the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and outside with a covering. And this is how you are to make it. The length of the ark is 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Make a window for the ark, and complete it to a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. And see, I myself am bringing flood waters on the earth, to destroy all flesh in which the breath of life from under the heavens. All that is on the earth is to die. And I shall establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you and your sons, and your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of all the living of all flesh, 2 of each you are to bring into the ark, to keep them alive with you, a male and a female. Of the birds after their kind, and of the cattle after their kind, and of all creeping creatures of the ground after their kind, 2 of each are to come to you, to keep them alive. As for you, take of all food that is eaten, and gather it to yourself. And it shall be food for you and for them. And Noah did, according to all that Elohim commanded him, so he did. All right, we're going to stop at that chapter first and talk about a couple of things, or a few things, really. First of all, everyone on the earth evidently is just gone wild, right? But Noah finds grace in God's eyes. God gives him grace. This is the first example of grace here. He's found righteous before God. Oh, okay.
No. Look at him. William Lee's got to be here.
He must be. So, this was unmerited grace. And one thing that I see that jumps out at me is that God provides the means of salvation, but man still has to take a part in it. You know what I mean? He provides unmerited grace in that.
We really need a separate building just for Bible study with no dogs.
Yeah.
No folks running in and out.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But anyway, mankind has still got to do his part. You know what I mean? In this salvation process, God provided the means, for it, and it was free. It was like, hey, I'm going to give you the knowledge and the know-how to make this ark, and it's there for you to get in, but you still have to have a hand in it. Yeah. You know, I think that's a good example of the salvation that we're provided with as well. I mean, it's not something God has provided it for us. He provided His Son Yeshua for us. That is our salvation. But there are steps that we have to take part in that salvation. You know, so that's what I gather from this first part. But
do not shut them out. He has missed you.
Yes, please. Okay. Some of the things in this first chapter. Let's see. So he goes in. It's Noah and his wife and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? And their wives. So we're talking about 8 people. Number-wise, we're talking about this with the kids. Numbers are important. The number 8. The number 8 is the number of redemption, right? Because there's that 7 day of the world, 7 days of the world, 7 millennials of the world. You got 6,000, then 1,000-year reign of Yeshua as King of the earth, and then there's eternity, that redemption, right? In the number 8. Number 8 is the number of redemption. That's what this is a picture of for us, is that this ark is a picture of redemption for these people. It's obviously what it is, right? There's going to be judgment on the earth. God is going to flood the earth. Some cultural context here. The people of the ancient Mesopotamian world saw waters as, like we said, chaos, and they're also the judge, right? In their time, in many cultures, if you were accused of something that there was a death penalty for whatever you are accused of. It was commonplace for them to tie your hands and feet and throw you into the river, the lake, whatever body of water they were near, right? And the waters would judge you. You were judged by the waters. And if you made it out, you were innocent.
So if you come through the water, you receive salvation.
Exactly. Exactly. And it goes all the way to the book of Revelations. There's another lake in the book of Revelations. It's the lake of fire. Because remember, he said he will not judge the world by water again, it will be by fire. Now, in the ancient world, if I accused you of something that called for the death penalty, and we tied your hands and feet, and you got thrown in the water, and you were a Navy SEAL, and you could swim with your hands and feet tied behind your back, right? And you got out. You lived. Now, that judgment goes on me. Okay? Now, let's say you did drown. And so they're saying the waters claimed you as guilty, and the person that accused you gets all your property, all your riches, land, whatever, animals. On the other hand, if you are found innocent by the waters and you get out, now I'm thrown in the waters and I drown. You, as the accused, get my property. In the end, in Revelations, Satan is cast into the lake of fire. Right? We inherit the earth. Right? Because right now, he has dominion over this world. God has handed it over to him for a time. So that's how we are justified in having taken it back. Right? This is all legal matters. Really. This is a court set up for us. So, all right. So, the world is going to be judged by these waters, and Noah's going to pass through, like you mentioned, that's through, and salvation is for him because he passed through the waters alive. Let's see, what else?
Pastor Chad said the word, where is it? In verse 11, the earth was corrupt before God and the earth was filled with violence. He said the word there in Hebrew for violence was Hamas.
Hamas, yeah. That's right.
I was
that
like,
is Hamas.
That's kind of scary.
Yep. And yeah, Hamas is, it means violence. It means taking, snatching people. It means kidnapping, actually, is part of that understanding, the word of Hamas, which is really crazy, right? Yeah. They chose that name. That group did. I feel like they knew what Hamas meant.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah, and they are using it against us, our ignorance here in the United States. They're using our ignorance against us. And it makes me so daggone
I know, right? Yeah.
And when you try to tell people, they look at you like you're two-headed and you got horns. You know, you're like, wow.
Plain sight kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
Like, you know, oh, you're evil because you're not tolerating this other religion. Duh.
Yeah, exactly. And nothing but violence.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was something else that at the very beginning there. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go right into a big one. Go for wood. Oh, wait. Hold on. So, wait a minute. Let me get back up. There's so many things. Ark. First of all, let's talk about ark. Tevah. Tevah is the Hebrew word for ark. You only see it in two places in Scripture. This one, Noah's ark, and Moses, the ark. He was put in for salvation, right? It's covered with what? Pitch, right? That word pitch is that kippah. I can't remember how you say it, but it's like kippah. That's why it wants to come out when I say it. Kippah, and we know kippah means atonement, covering. Exactly. Yeah. So the ark was covered in atonement. It was covered in protection. It was a covering, right? Same with Moses. His was also covered with pitch, but only on the outside. It's kind of a weird thing that some of the sages write and talk about amongst themselves. Like, why was Noah's on the inside and outside? Most of them just come up with logical conclusions like, oh, because the water was rough in Noah. Yeah. Moses was just floating down a little stream, you know. So, anyway, yeah, it's really interesting about this ark, okay? And when we get to the story of Moses, we'll talk about temples and arks, okay? There's a thing there. If you want to get ahead and look it up about boats and gods living on boats and what they would have seen Moses as. So, all right, now, go for wood. Adam probably wants to talk about this because I said I got excited when I mentioned it.
No, it just hit me.
Go for wood is not mentioned anywhere else in Scripture, okay? Like everything else, if you find a word that is nowhere else in Scripture, it's the only place you see it, it's important. I'll say this, there's probably some hidden meaning behind it, right? Mm-hmm. The writer is trying to tell us something that's on this sod level, that mystical, esoteric type stuff. Okay. It is written out, and the way you would say it in Hebrew is gopher. Gopher wood. Okay? And when they ask, well, how is this translated in English? Gopher. Like, because there's no word for it, right? There's no word for gopher. It is gopher. Just say it like you're from Eastern North Carolina. It's gopher wood.
Gopher. Yeah.
So, now, I'm going to bring up, like, again, so this is stuff from, like, the Talmud, some writing from Rashi, people like that. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Rashi. Now, he's from he lived in France. It was around the medieval time, 1075 to 1105 is when these documents were written. So Rashi has a commentary. It's just a commentary on Genesis. Now, Rashi, he says that gopher wood, and he has it written out in the Hebrew letters, and it says, thus is its name. Why of this species? Gopher. Because of the sulfur by which it was decreed that they were to be blotted out. The end of the last Torah portion mentions the people they were going to be blotted out, right? If you look, and I'm probably not going to be able to show it good on the camera, but the word gopher in gopher wood, so that's your gopher right there. See gopher? Why of this species gopher? You see the Hebrew lettering. Mm-hmm. Sulfur has those same letters in it, okay? Mm-hmm. When God brings wrath on places, he uses that brimstone, which is sulfur, okay? Okay. All right, so he's just saying that this word, Rashi is recognizing that this is a word that even they don't even know. Like, why? We've never heard of this tree, this wood. What kind of tree is it? If it's wood, it has to be from a tree. We should know what this tree is. Most Bibles translate it, it's cedar, well not cedar, cypress wood, or some may even say willow. Okay, but he's like, we have words for those. Why are we saying gopher wood and gopher? That word for sulfur is gopherit. If gopherit is sulfur and we're saying gopher wood, right? Maybe there's a correlation there. Maybe this whole thing is an elemental thing. Going back to dimensions here, okay? Going back to dimensions. All right, gopher wood, if it has a sulfur element to it. Think of, in Scripture, the most valuable stones is sapphire. God's throne is made of sapphire, right? As when the Mount Sinai, it was said to have sapphire. Right? It was sapphire there where Moses went and stuff. Mm-hmm. There's even it slipped my mind.
Give some context. I can help you.
I don't know why I'm forgetting to say this word. My brain's going blank. There is Jewish tales of the stones that the Ten Commandments written on, actually written on this type of stone that had a sapphire color to it. All right, so going back to science, on the science side, all over that part of the world there are stones called lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli, how you say it? Mm-hmm. Okay. You can buy jewelry made with that in it, and it has a blue color to it. It's a hard stone. Where does the blue color come from in that stone? Y'all know? Why does it have a blue hue to it?
Sulfur.
Sulfur ions. So, in that area of the world, there is stone with sulfur ions in it that God uses throughout. There's legend that Moses' staff was made from this lapis lazuli. God's throne is lapis lazuli. All these stones with this sulfur ion in it, okay, and possibly the Ten Commandments were written on the same kind of stone. So that's that. I'm just giving y'all Rashi's reasoning. Like I said, y'all don't have to believe it because I don't even know that I do. But Rashi's reasoning is he's pulling from things I know, but he's like, okay, this word gopher, we don't have a definition of gopher, but we have another word that sounds just like it, gopherit, which is sulfur. Could this be the legends that I've been told all my life, that the things that God is building, right? The staff, which supposedly by legend is the staff given to Adam by God, passed to his son, passed end up to Noah. Noah gives it to Shem. Shem, supposedly, if Shem was Melchizedek, if legend, so gives it to Abraham. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, which ends up in Moses' hand, that he went and got from his father-in-law, Jethro. Mm-hmm. Jethro had it because that's why they were worshiping. They knew the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because Abraham gave him the staff. He had the staff. Moses gets the staff when he flees to the land they were in. Whatever his wife Zipporah came from, and his father Jethro were in. They gave him the staff. So okay, all those things were made from this stone. So this could be this ark could be made of stone, but you're like, stone doesn't float, right? Okay, stone does not float. We all know that. Going back to what we talked about in the very beginning, we're working in different dimensions, in different ways work with one another. Okay.
Well, maybe it has got something to do with the mineral content. Because me and Jennifer were actually talking about trees this morning. Just randomly talking about trees, but we were talking about, how a lot of the herbal things or whatever, you make tinctures and all kinds of stuff. Well, there's part of the plant that is medicinal for one purpose, but the stem, the root might be used for one thing, but the stem might be used for something else. Mm-hmm. Then the flowers or the fruit is used for something different. Yeah. So
one can cure you.
Maybe there is some kind of connection between like the roots of this tree.
That's right.
With the mineral content. Of it. Yeah. Could be.
That's a very good possibility.
Could be.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, y'all. There's so many different possibilities. That's true. And I'm just bringing up what some other people's understanding.
Really interesting to think about.
Yep.
It is.
And this, I think that was about off with gopher wood. It's just another word that we don't see anywhere else. Okay, talking about the window. That was the next
wood
thing.
that the Ark of the Covenant was made out of. Could have covered.
Acacia wood.
Acacia. Okay.
Yep, and covered in gold. Yep. Yep. All right. So let's go to the window now. Right in verse 16, he says, "Make a window for the ark." Some of y'all might say a roof. I found that when I was doing some
Mine
research.
says roof.
Roof.
Yeah.
Okay. Yours says roof too, Addison? Okay.
Mine says window.
Okay. That word in Hebrew is zoar, for that, whatever we want to call it, window or roof. If you go to, this was from, I think this one was from I think this is Sanhedrin. Okay, it's Talmud. Sanhedrin is the tractate. Okay, and I don't remember who wrote this. I've lost my page with that on there, but there it is. No, I'm sorry, y'all. This one is a midrash, and it is Bereshit Rabbah. It's the name of the midrash, and it was written in 400 CE. So we're talking about only 70 years after Yeshua, right? So very early writing. Now, this person, this is his verse in English. It says, "You shall make a bright item for the ark." That's their understanding of that word Zohar. Okay? Zoar. And to a cubit you shall complete, yada yada. Where it's at, right? Okay. Now, he's saying, "You shall make a bright item, Zoar, for the ark." He's quoting it again. There's several rabbis here. This is, like I said, in the 400 CE. They give different opinions, okay? They even say they disagree. Rabbi Hunya, Rabbi Pinhas, Rabbi Hanin, they did not disagree about this. These guys were all on the same page. Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana, Rabbi Levi did disagree. Okay, Rabbi Abba Bar said it was a window, like we all said. Rabbi Levi said it was a luminous, precious stone. All right, Rabbi Pinhas said in the name of Rabbi Levi, all 12 months that Noah was in the ark, he needed neither the light of the sun during the day nor the light of the moon at night. Rather, he had a precious stone that he had suspended in the ark. Okay, where do they get it from? What best I can gather is Zohar is very similar again for the word noonday. If you look it up, if you use I use Logos a lot at work.
On your lunch break.
On my lunch break. And so Logos, if you pull up this word Zohar, you can look at the root etymology of the word and all that kind of stuff. And you'll see. It means noonday, high noon, bright sky. We're talking about all luminous terms, right? The sun. It's a bright time, right? Okay. Zohar, it comes from that root word. But we're using it to say window, which is also a good translation because window, you think of light coming in.
Yeah,
right?
light coming in.
Okay. But this gives a good explanation of, they're going to be in there 12 months, y'all. There's only one hole if we only have a window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, this thing is we said a football and a half is 300 cubits, right? 75 feet tall. There's 3 levels to it. Right? How does the bottom level even get any sunlight? How do they know when it's night and day? We're talking about every animal on earth is inside this thing. And could y'all even imagine if somebody stuck you in a cell and closed all the windows, what it would do to your biological clock? You know, you would go crazy. Yeah. So I don't see, God, why would he do that to Noah? Why would he lock him in a box and go through that mental anguish, of not knowing time? And he's got to still do things. They got to feed animals, right? They have to feed themselves. They have to prepare food. How in the world are you going to do it with a little window, like in the books, the little children's books we see, which is, with the Noah sticking out of the window and the animal smiling real big and that kind of stuff. So, anyway, this is just a way to see how maybe things could have been. There's also another one That's that Talmudic Sanhedrin writing. I don't know what year this one was written, but they talked about this. I've got both things up here. All right. Go back to the gopher wood in this Sanhedrin Talmud writing. They're saying, with regard to the verse, make you an ark of gopher wood, the Gemara asked, what is gopher wood? So they were pondering all this crap like we were too. Rav Adal, this guy, says that they say in the school of Rabbi Shila, this is wood from the Mavlaga tree. And some say that it is wood from the Gulamish tree. All right. They in English, when they translate that into English, because this stuff I'm reading here is got Hebrew lettering, right? That does not say. Then down here on the bottom is English translation. Okay, y'all see Gulamish and willow tree is what it translates as. Gulamish. If you look up willow tree first, go to any Blue Letter Bible, well, not Blue Letter Bible, but just if you Google it, whatever. Look up Hebrew for willow tree. You're not going to find Gulamish. Don't know why this translation decided to put willow tree in there. Gulamish it doesn't even appear in Hebrew that I could find in that transliteration to Gulamish. But Hulamish, CH, right? Hulamish means stone or boulder. So we just talked about this gopher wood possibly being sulfur elemental properties.
Yeah.
And this guy, this one Rabbi, Rav Adah, he says this is wood from the Mavagla tree. And he's saying, and some people say that it is wood from the Gulamish tree, the stone tree, the boulder tree. The stone or the boulder. So when you look up Hulamish, it's a hard stone. Anyway, cool. Then this same tractate talks about the Zohar, the window. With regard to the verse, a Zohar you shall make for the ark. Rabbi Yohanan says that the Holy One, blessed be He, said to Noah, set precious stones and jewels in the ark so that they will shine for you as the afternoon, which is Zoharyin, sun. We're talking about Zohar, right? Anyway, possibilities of explanations of how they could have light in the ark.
There's a writing called Zohar too, right?
No, that's Z without the T, and you're right. That is that's Kabbalah, Zohar, Zohar.
So like
the light. Because that's what Kabbalicism
yeah.
sees is that when you get to this level that Solomon was at, which is Kabbalah, that you entered into the light kind of thing, because you're closer to having an understanding of all the concepts of God creation.
So maybe that's why that's the only one.
True. That's what I'm saying. Because God's providing the light. God's providing the light. And think about this too, y'all. We're talking about
so much fun
this salvation, this ark that only God can guide it where it's going. It has no rudder. It has no sails. It's just floating along, and it's saving everything. And all the animals are in there, and part of mankind, right? Yeah. And it's like the garden, right? Because the story of the flood is a recreation motif, right? We had Adam just went over to the creation story. Here we are again in the second Torah portion, already talking about a creation story again. Like you pointed out, that Zohar, that light, God, right? God is the light. Okay, so in the garden, it says in Revelations that there won't be any sun, because He is there with us. He's the light. So many different levels on this stuff. We got out of this one. I'm gonna talk about another thing here. So the size of the ark, all right? Because we got another question to answer. Getting tired of that?
No,
We got to answer the question of how in the world can all these animals fit in this ark? Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a real simple answer, a logical reason I think sometimes that can make sense, but I guess somebody would have to test it to see if it actually works, and we'll never do this. Okay, but a logical meaning, not no mystical stuff, nothing like that, is okay. It says of its kind. All right. If we got to have a cat, we can just pick one and go with that.
Adam
right?
talked about that last time.
Yeah,
too.
makes sense.
Like if they broke it down to some Hebrew translation or what that was, but that was basically what you have a species of cat. That was something of that kind.
Exactly.
And I don't know how it went from having, that one kind
To all.
to end up being multiple, but and there was an explanation for that, and I can't remember exactly how they did it at the art museum when they. And that's coming from a very modern day worldly trend. But it made good sense when you think
it does.
You gotta have every single cat kind of
right
and
to be babies.
Unbelievable. That's right.
But
that's right.
Not grown cats.
That's
Still
another
baby
thing.
cats.
Part of it too.
It could be young
That's right.
animals and.
If you have to carry
the evolution conversation,
right,
Yeah, right.
It does a little bit,
Kinds.
right, and so I think what's the show? April, you probably remember. Genesis.
Genesis is history. Genesis,
Is that what it is? I
I
think
don't remember.
something
I
like
always get the name wrong. I could look up.
there's a
It's so
series of, and I
We've
like
talked
them.
about it
They give it's great for
Is Genesis
young adults,
history?
kids going to school, college, on answering these questions that they're faced with by their professors and things like that on creation story or evolution, and it gives great reasoning, like you just mentioned, that hey, we don't have to have. If we got 100 species of cats in the world, we don't need all 100. We need one. And if we get those, we have those live, then they become these others, right? Over time. And if you're going to carry an elephant, why the heck are you going to carry a full-grown elephant on the boat? Get you a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get 2 little bitty babies. I don't know what they are. They're still big.
Yeah.
But
It's
hey.
a lot easier to catch baby ones too.
Yeah, it's all easy to catch them. Exactly. They don't eat as much, right? So there you go. That's a possibility, right? That's a logical possibility of what could have happened, and maybe with the size. But we still got to answer a question with that too. That's still a lot of animals and a lot of animals to feed. And he was to collect food. He was to collect food, right? But he's got to feed all them animals and himself and his family and all that. And they got to feed each other, right? So where's the time come from, right? Where does that time to do that? And y'all, this is like, I think something or maybe I might be projecting this on y'all. But for me, I always forget he was on that boat 12 months. Like, I just think about this thing, like, he was floating around for 40 days, right? Because we hear that 40 days of rain thing. No, this was a year. Can you imagine just for the people how much food would be on that boat for a year? We're talking about 8 people.
Well, think about how much all them animals had to eat that food and process that food.
You just said that you're going to probably have to get, how many bales of hay you already got? What would that be just for the winter for you?
Yeah.
You're talking about 20-some, 30 bales of hay?
Yeah, to get through
2 horses.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I know we're talking about
600-pound bales of hay.
And I know, we could say, well, that's a full-grown horse, but I mean, it's still a small animal. We're talking about a whole year of this. Where is the space for that in this boat?
And where's the byproduct for that food?
Good question. That's another one, right? And here's another one too. How about fresh water?
Right.
We're talking about waters. Right? We're talking about a sea of water, but it's probably salty because our oceans are salty. You know what I'm saying?
So I wonder
Where's
if they
the
had some
water?
kind of water filtration system.
All right. So let's go back to our story about the stone.
He got living water from the rock.
Exactly. Right.
What kind of rock was it?
Yeah.
What kind of rock?
Did he hit in the desert? Right. Moses struck the rock, and we're just talking about this. It's shown that this type of rock is all over that part of the world.
Water can come from a rock.
Where does the rock come from? Where does it? If it is a sulfur, a rock elemental item, that solves the issue of the water, because this thing can provide water, right? I don't know. Mysteries that are there. So anyway,
We talked about one or two once they entered into the ark. They actually entered into another dimension.
I was about to get to that.
Oh. Sorry.
About to get to that.
Okay.
Let me touch on one more thing before we get to that. This dimension of the ark, the sizes we're given. Okay, we're told he's told to make the ark, and it is to be 300 cubits in its length, 50 cubits in its width, and 30 in its height. So, this is some gematria stuff. Okay, this is numerology, right? They were talking about the numerical values of words and letters, right? Those numbers, that 300, 50, and 30, has a that numerical value is of the word lashon. Okay, now I'm butchering this one, okay, because I can't remember everything, and I did not print my stuff out that I had found in some of the Safaria resources I use, but so I'm probably gonna butcher it. Like I said, y'all might be familiar with the word lashon, okay, because we're going to get to talking about Miriam lashon hara. All right, we talked about it a lot last year, and that's talking, speaking about someone in a negative way to others. Okay, this number this number is value. The word that is the value of this number. I had to get that right. The Hebrew word that is the value of this number we have here is lashon something. I can't remember the last part of it, but it's divine speech. All right. So God is telling Noah to build an ark this size. Why do we even have to know the size, first of all? So this is the kind of questions that you'll see in these other writings of the sages. They ask these questions because they want to know. These are mysteries. Why are we told the size? It has nothing to do with the redemptive story of Noah. It has zero to do with the redemption. All we had to know was that God told him to do something, build an ark, and to get all the animals of the earth and put them in the boat, and he will save you and the creation, right? And that's all. Why did it matter about the size? Why was that important? Those numbers mean divine speech. We're at a time of the world when there would have been only one speech, or before Babel, right? So with only one speech, it is said that the language of God during creation was the Hebrew language. So that would have been divine speech, right? But there's secrets to the divine speech, because we talk about the utterances, the 10 utterances of creation, where it says
He spoke and it happened.
Spoke this and this happened. There was 10 of those instances, right? So they have creative power. Those words, those Hebrew words do. So, is it possible maybe that he was able to speak this ark into existence? He's not mentioned as a carpenter, right? I can build some stuff, but I couldn't build a boat, I don't think. You know what I mean? And we talked about this in the last Torah portion, the 120 years, right? That it says, okay, Yahweh said, this is 6 verse 3, Yahweh said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever in his going astray. He is flesh, and his days shall be 120 years. All right, now we talked about an explanation of that 120 years as being 120 jubilees. I like that. I like that interpretation of it. But there's also commentary that this is saying that Moses was given 120 years.
Noah.
I said Moses, way off, centuries away. Noah, God gave Noah 120 years to go out into the world and to call people back to God. And at 120 years ends, I'm done with them, right? So it takes him 100 years to build the boat, it said. Well, from the time he was commanded it to build it, and when he got in the boat, it was about 100 years. I think it is 100 years. How in the world can he build this boat for this long and still go out and do what God commanded him to do if it is a command to go out and call people back to God for repentance, right? And he's building a boat. Well, he probably could if he could speak it into existence, right? It sure would save me a lot of work if I could build that pasture out there by just saying the words that need to be said for it to happen, right? So that kind of answers that possibility of why we had those numbers in there for. He's telling us
I was
something
thinking
possible.
about Gematria the other day because Pastor Chad was talking about it, and I know there's certain numbers mean certain things, and it's supposed to be very significant in the Bible, and they take two completely unrelated, what looks like to us, unrelated ideas, and they can have like a really close relation if the Gematria is correct.
Yes.
And I thought,
It's a little bit
I
like,
don't care. That's what I thought. Sorry, y'all, just confessing.
Yeah.
I was like, how are you getting that? That's just stupid.
I know.
But then I got to thinking about this, which is the reason I'm bringing this up. I personally thought it was just stupid. Just stupid.
I
just thought it was stupid.
I love it. I eat it up.
Okay, so, but it wasn't because of the way I was raised. Here in the United States, it made no sense. It was stupid that A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, which that ain't right. Y'all don't. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But had I been taught from a little child that A is 1, and B is 2, and C is 3, and that had been the way I thought about things, then when I saw C and A, in my mind, I would automatically go 4.
It's almost like a different dimension in your brain.
It is.
Like, because it's just a natural space. You see it as letters and numbers, but then it's like you're up here where they're kind of in that same.
You can see things from above.
Yeah.
Of.
I don't know. It computes.
Well, I'm saying this for the benefit of our young people here, because I honestly didn't care and I thought it was stupid.
Well, this was from.
But now that I know it's not.
Right.
This is a
Now
yod.
you're
It's a 10th letter, and it has the numerical value of 10.
Right.
What does yod mean? Hand of God.
Hand of God.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
It
It's
literally
the
looks
hand
like a hand
of
of
God.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
And that's
Well, see, that's correct
picture.
because what that symbol looks like has
Exactly. A third level to it, right?
Yeah.
But Paleo Hebrew. And
Paleo
Yeshua
Hebrew.
says not one jot, not one tittle. He's not saying jot. He's saying yod,
Yod.
because J didn't exist.
Yod
remember?
is the smallest
That's
letter.
right.
And yod is the smallest letter. It means the hand of God. It is His letter.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh wait, that's going in. You're right.
And his name starts with Yod.
His name starts
Yahweh.
with Yahweh.
Yod.
Yeshua.
When you see it written, it has it's Yod because it's right to left. That little symbol is the beginning of his name, the hand of God.
And it's the smallest letter.
Yeah.
So not one hand or tittle.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tittle,
I mean,
I think
yeah.
are the dots.
They are the dots.
the little
The
dots.
tittles are the dots on that that changes.
Changes
Sometimes
the meanings of words,
meanings of
where they
words.
are around
You
the
can
word.
have a
and how
Hebrew-
many
I
dots.
heard it's kind of like cannellation marks, so it's kind of like music.
Yes,
dots
very much
and
so.
Stuff when you see the music,
And they tie to
written on
each
the
other
thing.
sometimes too.
Yeah.
It could be over here, and you see these are the. Can you see those at the bottom? Those are your tittles.
Yeah,
Right. So that letter doesn't have to have those.
yeah.
They add them in there, and it has
It says, hey, we are connected to this word over here too.
right.
Right.
And it also does what's the word for this? A grammatical change where we say the letter A, right?
Mm-hmm.
A, sometimes A can sound like ah, or it can sound like A.
Maybe a homophone is what it's
Homophone. Isn't that what it? Yeah. Okay,
I
so
think you're thinking about homophone.
it gives that
Yeah.
it changes the vocalization of the letter.
Okay. All right. Well, then, no, that's
I like the
homophone.
like the
That's-
little
you are right.
accent mark.
Uh-huh,
Those
above
are
'em.
my middle name. My middle name's Renee, and it's
Oh, and you do have
the-
that's
and
right.
I don't, but I know a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Do the accent.
Or
I would look at you and say,
Rennie.
"Oh, you're Rennie."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rennie.
Rennie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Rennie.
Rennie.
You're Rennie.
Yeah,
Instead
my
of
sister called me
Renee.
Rennie Boo, so yeah.
That's a good example.
That's a much better.
So that
Yep.
would,
Yeah.
that would make good sense.
Oh boy.
This is good stuff,
It
y'all. I'm
is
telling
good.
you,
Will.
this is good stuff.
Okay.
All right.
I got to hurry up. So,
No,
We
don't.
haven't got to the Tower of Babel yet.
Oh my
That's the
God.
ball.
Okay, just go.
all right, real quick,
Take your
we talked
time.
about dimensions, y'all. Okay, at the very beginning here, and being outside in different dimension. What's another way to get these animals all in the same thing, right?
Going to another dimension.
Stepping into another world, a whole nother place, right? So maybe God shut the door Okay, God's hand shut the door.
So they didn't know where to go.
Exactly. Noah didn't shut it.
I'm not so sure that the Garden of Eden ain't in another dimension or else. I feel like somebody was stumbled across
Actually,
it.
Halisa L1 teaches that.
Okay.
Is that right?
Somebody was
Yeah,
stumbled across
that-
it.
I think
And
you would picture that, it's like seeing a show or something, like somebody walking down a hallway, and they open a door, and you're in a
Yes.
like the whole.
Yes.
but you
He
shut
says
door
that
and
the
you're back.
garden
Back where you were.
actually resides just
Yep.
above the land of Israel, is what she teaches.
Well,
So I don't.
So when heaven
ladder.
comes down,
Yeah.
and the ladder,
Jacob's ladder is
'cause
going up.
That's another
Yeah.
Memorah, by the way, because Yeshua says he is the ladder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good
stuff.
Like Adam, you mentioned there. Y'all probably, maybe, I don't know. Isn't this written by C.S. Lewis?
Yes.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, he is.
And in one
So-
of his more literal writings talks about a hallway with doorways.
Yep. Yep. So they stepped through the wardrobe, and now they're in a whole other world
So
that
yeah,
has
yeah,
different
yeah.
laws. That has different. You know, the laws of
Yeah.
physics don't apply in that world because it's different. It's got different frequencies.
Animals talk.
And
Molecular
every
level, they're
line,
different.
That sweet ass land. I
Yeah.
want that ass land so bad.
Yep. So that kind of gives us an idea of how that's a possibility. Now you don't have to worry about the size in there. You don't have to worry about you've got a lion who requires a whole totally different climate than a penguin.
Right.
Right.
Right? They have their own. They can have their own little climate. You know,
Yeah.
each little part. And this Zohar thing, the light, is what's providing this stuff, this climate, and the water is coming from the stone. You know, so
Yeah.
lots
right.
of different
Yeah.
cool little
But
things. there.
going back to level 1,
Level
God
one.
sakes.
God sakes.
That's
That's
all
it. I know.
really
That's
matters.
really
Yeah.
where we're
Well,
at. Yep.
Noah was faithful to what God commanded him,
Yep.
and for that,
That's right.
he
That's right.
Well, he was righteous before that. That's why he chose him. He was walking evidently he was walking out in the path that God wanted for him, and
Yep.
he was faithful to. I mean, that's the true definition of faith, just like Abraham and that. I mean,
Obedience.
you're telling me
Walking.
for 100 or whatever form I have to do, how weird that looks to the world around me. Everybody in this world around me.
Call them
Just
crazy.
Either with a building a chisel and a hammer, or
Yep. Right.
speaking it, or I mean,
Whatever it is.
whatever that process is. You know, that was
We're supposed to be
Totally
a peculiar
crazy.
people, and we really are.
this thing is supposed
Yeah.
to float us or take us away from the wrath that's coming.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is get in.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just come with me.
Yeah.
And do what I say,
Yeah.
and you'll be safe. And
Yeah.
that's
That's really the heart of the whole
right.
portion.
Yeah.
Is what you're talking about there. This other stuff we're talking about is just fun to talk about, but that right there is what this all boils down to, and is
Concept.
probably trying to teach us more than anything else, right?
Right.
Right.
That walking with God. That last verse you just said it, and Noah did according to all that Elohim commanded him, so he did,
Whew.
Yeah.
right? So
That's
he
huge.
followed all God's commandments and did exactly what God told him to do when it came to this here, and he was saved because of that.
Ain't hard, y'all.
Right. Yep. Whew. All right. Let's go ahead to 7.
Okay.
Okay. And Yahweh said to Noah, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Of all the clean beasts, take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female. And of the beasts that are unclean, 2, a male and his female." All right, real quick. We all probably all at this table know this, but it's funny though. All the time in church,
Alone 5 years ago when we realized.
grew up in
2 by 2?
church. Always 2 by 2, yeah.
It's
And
so
then
weird to me. We were talking about this morning, Kevin Case. It's like
We'll give me a water.
that's so clearly spelled out in the Bible verse.
Why do we skip
Why
over?
is it just skipped over?
It's never
Why-
taught.
Well,
because the sacrifices are done away with.
but it's like I don't
Or
know.
no, there's that all everything's clean, like all food.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a big part of it too. As
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Who cares?
But it
Yeah.
totally makes you not even relevant in your brain that there was clean and unclean.
Yeah.
Like when you hear that story, it's just the story
Yep.
of Noah, and that's never. Even if they read it, it was just like, okay, so we got that. You know, it was just that part was just always skipped over.
Yeah.
So it's never you don't never hear anything about clean or unclean until way later when it's in the.
I was.
That's just for the temple. You know, that's just
Yeah.
for clean that part.
there was a teaching that I listened to. I was actually studying like demonic spirits and that kind of, and I don't know. Okay, I'm not the authority, still don't know. And I did study it, but I still don't know. But it was talking about how they did talk about demons in the New Testament, but in the Old Testament that they were not called demons. They were called unclean spirits.
Yeah.
But then it's like in the New Testament they were called demons, and so I still don't understand. But they were talking about how it was somehow related to food, because in the Old Testament it was just called clean and unclean, and whenever they talked about it, that it did refer to food. But then when you get to the New Testament, the only thing called clean and unclean was the spirits, the unclean spirits. And so somehow along the way it got related to demonic spirits. And then they were talking about how when Jesus cast the demons out of the man, and he sent it into the pigs. And so they were saying something, relative to the fact that people eat these pigs. And so
I think pig is closely related to a human as you can get in the animal world.
Well, they use their parts for transfusions to people.
That's right.
When you really think about it.
And I think they're one of the most intelligent animals on Earth.
They are very smart to be, considered livestock, I
Right.
guess, by some people.
But they're very, very, very close to a human.
They use pig flesh, pig hearts, but to put into a human's body.
How closely they are to a
the
human.
DNA structure or what molecular structure.
Yep.
Have you looked in a pig's eyes? We grew pigs. They look like human eyes. It's weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Just that part of it's like, that's
it's
a whole
kind of
other
creepy.
thing to think about.
Yep. I did forget to mention one other thing earlier. But
Okay, go ahead.
You sure?
Tell it. I'm in no hurry.
Well, it's to back up the dimensionless ark that we just covered right at the end there, right? Where does that idea come from, right? The idea comes from the only two places that we know Teve, right? That's ark, isn't that right? Isn't that the word for ark? Yeah. This is the one we're talking about here, Teve, and Moses' is Teve. But we know there's another ark.
Ark of the Covenant.
Right?
Yes.
Now it is a different Hebrew word used for that ark, but it is called the Ark of the Covenant, right? Here we have, this can be considered an Ark of a Covenant, because what we read
by definition, that's really is a perfect definition.
He made a covenant with Noah, and then he entered the ark. So it becomes the Ark of the Covenant that was made.
And Pastor Tad, this might have nothing to do with nothing, but when you just said that same word, Pastor Chad said that it does mean ark, absolutely, positively, but he said it also means word. That word means word. He said, if I were teaching you a Hebrew class and you translated that word as ark, I would give you an A. He said, but if you translated that word as ark and word, I would give you an A+.
Okay.
So that same word can not only mean ark, but it can also mean word.
Yeah.
So that adds a whole nother layer
That's
of
right.
thought.
It does.
Yep.
When you're
The word, look, it's the word of the covenant when we're talking,
right.
And that's what the Torah is. It's the word of our covenant with Him, the whole thing. So I can see that. And this is this is another Ark of a Covenant being made. That is the Ark of the Covenant that we see in the Holy of Holies is where the Ten Commandments were put inside of, right? Okay.
Yeah, the words.
So that's why it is the Ark of the Covenant.
10 words were put into the word.
Exactly. Exactly. It is a part of the whole word here, isn't it?
And if you want your head broke, just think about that.
So, but what does that have to do with being dimensionless, right? So they related it to, like I said, the Ark of the Covenant. We have an ark here, and it's Noah He made a covenant. God made a covenant with Noah and said, "Get in the ark." Mm-hmm. This is a type of Ark of a Covenant. Now we have an Ark of the Covenant. What are they? What properties do we know about the Ark of the Covenant? According to, this is some legend. All right. Mm-hmm. But the Ark of the Covenant was legend to be dimensionless because of dimensions that are given about it in different writings, right? One writing says, we know the Holy of Holies is 20 by 20 cubits. It's actually 20 by 20 by 20. 20 high, 20 when we have it there, right? Now, it's legend. This is legend. This is not from Scripture. But the 20 by 20 I just told you is. Okay, that's the actual size of the Holy of Holies, that room, that part of the tabernacle or temple too, right? That when you, around the Ark of the Covenant, there was a space of 10 cubits all the way around it, right? But we know the ark is 2.5 by 1.5 by 1.5. How is that possible? And and also you have the poles were left in the ark. Mm-hmm. They are 10 cubits long, and so they're saying that it didn't make sense that when you measured around it, it's like, the math ain't mathing, right? Mm-hmm. We have a 20 cubit wide room, and if we, to make the math easy, I'm going to say 5 cubits. Let's say we have a 5 cubit box in there. Then that means there only can be 7.5 on this side, 7.5 on that side for it to be a 20 cubit room, but we're measuring 10 and 10, which is 20, which means it's 20. There's no dimension there. It's dimensionless. When you take it out of that realm, now you have its dimensions. It was constructed at this dimension, just like we have the ark was constructed at a 300 by 50 by 30. Mm-hmm. But inside, it is dimensionless, right? Doesn't take up any space. So that's how they related it to the possibility that this could be a dimensionless vessel with all the animals in it. I'm just giving y'all their thoughts.
Just another theory.
Another theory. So that's the Ark of the Covenant related to the Ark of Noah. Anyway. Okay. Where did we stop on this chapter 7? I think verse 3. They made it really far. And of birds of the heavens, 7 pairs, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of the earth. There's your reason why. Here's your reason why too, that we know. First of all, we know he knew of a difference. Noah knew what was a clean animal, what was an unclean animal before Mount Sinai.
That's what I
before
know.
Mount Sinai, we had it.
You see it all the way through. You see the law.
And why did he only need
practicing the law before it was ever written down?
Why did he only need 1 pair of the unclean? Because they weren't going to be given on an altar. Mm-mm. So if they were,
eat them and they weren't going to sacrifice them, so
exactly. He's fixing to give him a commandment that he can eat the animals. We're going to see right after he gets off the boat. So if he only brought 1 of the clean, they wouldn't exist anymore.
Correct.
All right. Verse 4. For after 7 more days, I am sending rain on the earth, 40 days and 40 nights, and shall wipe from the face of the earth all that stand that I created. Number 7 has some significance. The most used number in the Bible. 40 is the second most used in the Bible. 40 is trial, testing, but it's also wisdom. Has that meaning to it too. And Noah did according to all that Yahweh commanded him. Now, Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters were on the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of the clean beast and of the beasts that are unclean, and of birds and of all that creep on the earth. 2 by 2. There's your 2 by 2. They went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as Elohim had commanded Noah. So there's a better way of presenting that 2 by 2 thing, whereas we think there's just 2 of each species going in. This is my opinion here. This is the way God designed marriage. 1 man, 1 woman, right? We see it in creation, and then we're seeing it in this recreation story. Mm-hmm. That the design that God is how He designed it to be was this male creature is paired with this female of its kind, right? Mm-hmm. And that's it. And then there's another separate pair if they're talking about 7 clean, right? So I just wanted to address that. Anyway, verse 10, and it came to be after 7 days that the waters of the flood were on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second new moon, the 17th day of the new moon, on that day, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the heavens were opened, and the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that same day, Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, went into the ark. They had every life form after its kind, and every beast after its kind, and every creeping creature that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every wing. And they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2, of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. And those going in, male and female, of all flesh, went in as Elohim had commanded him, and Yahweh shut him in. So Yahweh shut the door. And the flood was on the earth 40 days, and the waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. And the waters were mighty and greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved about on the surface of the waters. And the waters were exceedingly mighty on the earth, and all the high mountains under all the heavens were covered. The waters became mighty, 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died, the creeping creature on the earth, birds and cattle, and beasts, and every swarming creature that swarms on the earth, and all mankind. All in whose nostrils was the breath of the Spirit of life, all that was on the dry land died. So he wiped off all that stand, which were on the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature and bird of the heavens, and they were wiped off from the earth. And only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. And the waters were mighty on the earth 150 days. So this water came from underneath and above, right? Little bit more science there. There's a place they have drilled in Russia. I think they went 12 kilometers deep when they had to stop. That's a long ways. Got 12,000 meters. And what they found when they got down there, even all the way down to 12,000, where it got too hot for them to go any further, the equipment couldn't handle it, there was water. But it was water that had bonded itself to the rock in the ground, the rocks that were in the ground. I know that's really weird to think about. Like the molecules of water were not really a liquid anymore.
What would happen to
They said it was no vapor. It was not a vapor. Yeah. Right, exactly. It wasn't a vapor. It wasn't a liquid. And it wasn't frozen. It wasn't a solid. But it was bonded with the stone because of the pressures and heat that were there.
Could you kind of picture like you took a chunk of that rock and you could like pour it, like you could separate the water out of like rock kind of, I don't know.
That's what I wonder.
It's saturate, like it's
yes.
Saturated.
And what I read described it that way. It's almost like it's like a sponge holding water.
Yeah, kind of.
You know?
Okay, yeah. So it's like the rock was just wet.
Right.
So
all through it.
Yeah. All through it.
Right.
Yeah. So, which, another question we have to ask, like that could come up, that is a logical question. How can we have all this water, y'all? How many cubits above the highest mountain was it?
15.
So we're talking about Mount Everest. 15 cubits above it. Where can all that water come from in that short amount of time of rain from the heavens, right? And some coming up from the ground. You think, we just read the creation story. Yeah. Adam talked about that, God holding back the waters. God, he's telling his people, I am the God that holds back the waters, right? And waters means chaos again, right? And in that creation story, he separated the dry ground from the water, and he brought order to the chaos. Well, he has the ability to release that chaos. Okay, this is all a picture that these people, I guess I'm trying to revisit the fact that we're reading a text that's written to a certain people in a certain time, right?
I have to go back and look. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Okay, when it said he put in the land to separate the waters from the waters.
Yeah.
Okay. We picture, land, continents and stuff like that. It doesn't really, I think about it, just crossed my mind when we're talking about the rock being saturated.
Yeah.
Okay. imagine like earthquakes and the plates squeezing the water out of the
Pressure
rock.
on holding it in.
And what that movement of the earth and the plates and all that, what that looks like. It makes mountains, it makes valleys,
Exactly.
So in that process where the mountains create, like is that the separation of the water from the above water to low water? Is it not necessarily like land and sea and ocean?
Right. It's actually like it's holding the water in, encapsulating.
Right. It's like you took I don't know, something full of water and you squeezed it, and that water displaces, but then I don't know when it comes to rest, or I don't know. It's almost imagining like you pressed it and then the water came out.
That's right.
It formed the land, the topography.
Yep.
And then the water receded back into it. I don't know.
I'm totally with you.
It made me a different picture in my brain than what it was when you're talking about the rock being saturated from it.
Yep.
How would you get the water out of the rock? You almost have to I don't know, and squeeze out of it like that.
That's a good way of looking at it too. We're about to go dead. We've been talking so long. We're gonna run the phone
I had
y'all.
plenty of battery for this.
You thought you did.
Thought
you did. You plugged up? Okay, there it goes. It was dark there for a minute. So, yeah, it's on. Okay, we're good.
Okay. Look at it's going to look like.
Yeah. Luckily, we don't bump it too hard.
Okay.
So,
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It concerns fish.
Yeah, about not being judged.
Yes.
Right.
Why were the fish not judged?
I don't know. That's a really good question, and I thought about it and pondered it myself. And I tell you one thing that jumped in my mind. I'm not saying this is just the random thoughts in my head when I think about fish, right? And what is the picture of fish?
I'd have to factor in the fish, if there wasn't like land and sea, there was the fish, because he made the waters of the. Let's say he made animals for the seas, though.
He did, yeah.
So that would.
Well, what I see it as is Yeshua sent fishers out.
Yes.
To catch the fish, right?
Well, fish are very significant
They are.
in the Bible.
Uh-huh.
And so I just wonder if that is why. Were fish already saved when God created them? Were they already?
I don't know. That's another way of looking at it too. I tell you, my mind went to like, okay, that's if we're looking at this being a motif of the judgment in the end.
Yeah.
We're I guess you can see us as fish, right? Right. Yeah. Jesus sent disciples out to be fishers of men, so you can relate us to fish. Just like we can be related to trees too as well. That's another side,
I was fixing to say because they call us trees too.
Yep. So maybe it's just a picture, a metaphor, or that those that aren't susceptible to the wrath of the flood. Maybe in the end, those that are not susceptible to the wrath that is to come are the same as those fish. I don't know.
Why were the birds and the fish created on the fourth day, and why were the birds on the ark? Because they can fly. Why did they have to be on the ark?
Right. Why did they have to? Why couldn't they just?
Why couldn't they just fly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
On the ark,
exactly.
And then.
No, you're right though.
And the only relation between birds and fish is that, well, number one, they're animals, but they move by current. Birds by wind current and fish by water current.
Yep.
So what does that mean?
Don't know.
What is that?
You got me on that one. I don't know. That's an interesting thought too.
That was actually a question that come up in when I was studying with Dr. Redwine. Because she teaches like the creation gospel thing, which I want to do all of them and I can't. But that was really the only thing that birds and fish have in common, is they move by current.
Yep.
And they were both created on the same day.
That's right.
So there's got to be some kind. Why were they not created with the rest of the animals?
Yeah.
Why are they separate?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
I don't know what it made, but he said everything on the dry land in whose nostrils was the breath of life died. So fish breathe underwater.
Right.
that when they're in this environment, they're suffocating. When to have the breath of life, I don't know, something there to make that statement. Who was the breath of life was. I don't know, something different. There's a whole different process in the way the breath of life works for those.
Yeah.
And
that's
other,
right.
Other type of animals. So I don't know.
Yeah. And where does breath of life come from? It's Yahweh.
Yes.
And when we pass away, the breath of life returns to Him, or does it? I don't know. So do fish not have that breath of life because they weren't judged, like you pointed out?
Yeah.
So did they not have that from? I don't know, y'all. That's some weird stuff. I don't know.
It's interesting when you stop and think about it, and there's got to be some kind of significance.
I know.
Because they were both created on the same day.
And going to that point, creation, right? I tend to look at the timeline of creation in millennials. I don't mean it. I don't mean I'm a viewpoint of 1,000 days. 1,000 years is one day. What I mean is it's a picture of
right.
Right. So the fourth millennium is dealing with fish and birds.
Dimension.
Yeah. I know, right?
You don't know.
Exactly.
Was it, all the same day, or
At the
was
same
it all
time.
the same day?
Right. The last day is right in the same time as the first day.
You guys will ever study, I promise.
Woo. Man. Yeah. That's a really interesting topic. We got,
It don't have anything to do with the fish and Jonah.
Huh.
I don't know. That's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in that realm.
Okay, so the Hebrew word for Jonah means dove. Just so you know that.
I didn't know that.
And
really?
dove, yes. The Hebrew word for Jonah means dove. And then, of course, dove is the universal, symbol of the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
Just like right here, I was going to say this a while ago. Noah, the word Noach, means rest, but it also means comfort.
Yeah, that's what mine said in the first part of the book.
Pastor Ted said this morning. He said that in the New Testament, when God says that He will send us another comforter, He said that is actually the word.
Yeah,
He will send you another Noah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
wow. That's wild.
That's cool.
Is that not the coolest thing ever?
Send us another Noah.
It's the word.
Menachem.
Yeah, Menachem.
That Menachem is the word for comforter, which is what the Holy Spirit is called.
Yeah.
In the New Testament. Coolest thing ever.
It is.
Coolest thing ever.
And in Matthew 24, Yeshua was telling us that comparing the end to the time of Noah, too.
Yes.
Yes. It'll be like the days of Noah.
Yeah, it'll be like the days of Noah. Huh.
So we got to get
that
on
brings in
board,
another interpretation of those verses that some people want to say, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but a lot of people have a different interpretation of those pieces of scripture about times of Noah. Well, what would times of Noah look like? But we got to remember, Yeshua was about to die and resurrect and ascend, and then the Holy Spirit was about to come. Maybe saying everybody's going to be filled with the Comforter. I don't know. Anyway.
That's stretch.
It is. Anyway. Okay. Woo.
But there was a teaching. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
Noah was pure in his generations. So, which could also be understood as bloodline.
Yeah.
So, could also be understood, especially in today's terminology, as their intact DNA. So, because of the Nephilim thing.
That's right, yeah.
So, his stuff was right. He had, godly DNA.
Pure.
Right.
He wasn't, all jacked up like the rest of these folks.
Right.
So.
True.
I know.
Yeah.
One more thing.
All right, go ahead.
Because
No,
when
I'm
you
in
read
no hurry.
about it says that the Noah was a righteous man. Well, you think that Yeshua is the only righteous. None of us are truly righteous. But there's really a two-part definition to when you just read righteous. It can mean like the Torah calls Noah Tzaddik.
Sadiq.
But there's another that is right. Your walk. It's almost like you're trying your best to walk in God. You're not. That's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are. You know, your mind is how I want to walk out my life by what God said. I'm going to mess. You know, it's not saying I do it perfectly, but my mindset is I'm doing that.
Right.
There's Zadik Gamor, which is what is saying. That's what. Even if it's not what it's saying, that's what like Yeshua was. He was perfectly righteous.
Yeah, perfectly righteous.
Perfectly righteous.
Mm-hmm.
But the Zadik is righteous in what man can
capable.
Like I mean, even when you see like so many examples, like so many people who were like King David. I mean, he was just for God. He's for God's purpose, but they had a messed up problem, but. In their grand scheme of what they want to do with their life is live for God.
That's right.
So maybe it means that he believed God because it says that Abraham believed God and God counted it to
just
him
like his
righteousness.
Yeah. It's not saying that he is perfect like Yeshua was, but he was living for God.
That's right. His intent was to be as perfect as he could.
He was living,
within the means of humanity.
With what we can fleshly accomplish.
Yeah, even John the Baptist's father, was called righteous. In Luke 1 verse 6.
That's always you always hear none are, but it says, let's see, Romans, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be a decipher there between Yeshua's type of righteousness and earthly righteousness.
That's right.
And you always say that. Well, he was saved because he was perfect, but no, that's not. There's only one person.
Exactly.
And that's what that kind of breaks it down. And it was an understanding that was in ancient time. There was two different.
Well, and two, by using the comparison of the generations of Noah, not the generations, but I guess society as a whole. It was an evil, wicked generation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, even if Noah wasn't, maybe he was a lot better than his neighbor down the road.
But I think it also shows that the whole concept of we can't do all of God's commandments, so let's just do away. That's such a crazy argument to me. You keep breaking the speed limit every week. So let's just do away. You can't follow laws, so let's just do away all traffic laws.
Yeah,
they're put there for thing. But if you're walking out the best you can, that's nobody's going to be seen perfect.
That's right.
That's right.
I mean, why is Yeshua's what he did that much meaningful if others who were not God in the flesh, could be perfect in that sense? So it's a different level of righteousness.
Yeah.
That's why he had to be perfect, because none of us can be perfect.
None of us can. You got it right.
Yep.
But he can take those people in those situations and use them for great things for his, his cause. So.
That's right. Yep. Yep. And this right here at the end, this last from 18, kind of a couple of verses there talking about these waters and being exceedingly mighty on the earth and all that. Going just to relate back, get away from the mysticism stuff a little bit for a minute. Going to talk because of the context of the time and the people. They, like I said, it's talking about chaos here, right? And the judgment, waters being judgment, and there they are. It's creating a picture in the minds of the readers of the time that Noah is being judged along with all the rest of the earth, and everything else on earth was found guilty. And Noah, like you pointed out, is found righteous. So he is saved, and it says, and the waters were exceedingly mighty on the earth, and all the high mountains under all the heavens were covered. Let's see, where was it? Okay, and the waters were mighty and greatly increased on the earth. And the ark, verse 18, and the waters were mighty and greatly increased on the earth. It's chaos, increased on the earth. We're back looking at a creation story, right? because we had waters and God's Spirit hovering. See, it says, and the ark moved about on the surface of the water.
Well, that's what you see that same picture. It's hovering God's
and then we get to Yeshua. Yeshua walks on the water. Right? It's just a picture of these people, so they can see that. All right. Yeah, that's what I figured. I got it. All right, we'll go to chapter 8. We got 3 more to do. And chapter 8. Yep.
Sorry, but it's just good stuff.
It is, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And Elohim remembered Noah. Man, we can't get nowhere, can we, y'all? This is, did God really remember him? Like, did he really forget?
No.
You know what I mean? No. We got to remember different dimensions. We don't have words for what God's realm is and what it means to remember, right? And Elohim remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And Elohim made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. There we picture creation again. We got God calming the waters, right? And the fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were stopped, and the rain from the heavens was withheld, and the waters receded steadily from the earth. And at the end of the 150 days, the waters diminished. And in the 7th new moon, the 17th day of the new moon, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. I'm going to point this out real quick because we're going to start seeing dates and stuff here. This is my understanding of this timeline. I tried to, in my very beginning of reading the Torah as much as I could, tried to piece this in and fit it to what I see the Hebrew calendar. Month 1 is Nisan. If you're looking at the word, the names, if you're going to go by the names of the month, in the spring I see it as 1 and 2, 3, right? And, but then as I learned more about God's law and how we can have multiple calendars running together, that there is such thing as multiple calendars, because there's a calendar for the fruit trees, there's a calendar for your livestock, and what is considered a 1-year-old in livestock, and when do you start that? When does all depths get wiped clean? And now we're starting anew, right? That's in Jubilee, right? That's to the 7th month. And I started to understand that, okay, well, I can see how we can have a new year also in the fall, right? God tells us in Exodus that this is the first month for you when he's talking about Nisan, meaning this is the beginning of your agricultural cycle, or your feast days, the beginning of your feast days. This is how they start in this month. And then I find out that if you owe debt, right, that wasn't the start of the year for you. You know what I'm saying? You started over back in Jubilee, if it was a Jubilee year, which is on Yom Kippur. And so started to understand that concept, and then that Yom Teruah is a trumpet sounding. It's an announcement of a king enthronement, right, ceremony, and here he proclaimed himself over creation as king. And so I'm like, well, wait a minute, that would have happened at the beginning of time as well. So, all right, I can see how the 7th month could be number 1, and that more than likely Noah is operating on here this timeline of creation, because we're talking about creation again. He's working on a creation calendar. So the 7th month for him, if you look on it like that, it's the month of Nisan. Nisan and Tishri are opposite on the circle. So this is possibly, it said the 17th day, I think, of the 7th. It would have been right in the middle of Sukkot.
Yeah.
Right.
But it says he comes out and started a vineyard.
True.
So
what could that be? That might be on the other timeline, right?
Right.
when would you plant a vineyard?
Well,
I would think you would associate planting in the spring. But
I would too.
I plant fruit trees in the fall.
Oh.
And I don't know if you plant your...
That might be something we had to look at. See,
Yeah.
when do you...
I don't know if you plant a grapevine
in
in
that
the
part of
fall,
the
but I
world,
plant my fruit trees in the
well,
fall.
Sukkot is
I don't
considered
know.
a grape harvest.
it is a great harvest for them.
So,
Would you plant it in fall and then it be ready to harvest the next
next
year?
year?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't
I'm not
either.
a vineyard person.
I'm not either.
We can go down that whole thing on how to win these
We don't know.
timelines, and we don't know.
Yeah.
All right. But it rested on the mountains of Ararat on that 17th day. And to me, the picture of that is a temporary dwelling. He's now on dry ground, and this is his little temporary dwelling he's about to be in. And the waters decreased steadily until the 10th new moon. In the 10th new moon, on the first day of the new moon, the tops of the mountains became visible. And it came to be, at the end of 40 days, that Noah opened the window of the ark. Interesting, because we thought it might be a stone, but who knows? Which he had made. And he sent out a raven, which kept going out and turning back until the waters had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove from him to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place for its feet, and returned into the ark to him, for the waters were on the face of all the earth. So he put out his hand and took it and pulled it into the ark to himself. The unclean bird went out first. You know,
that's what I try to, in that little section. I try to use how was that symbolic of like a microcosm, because as soon as the dove comes back with an olive,
yeah,
or he doesn't come back with anything.
Right.
He does, but then he doesn't. He leaves. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that? A microcosm or a force?
You want to know what my commentary says?
Please.
Sure.
It's so simple.
Simplistic.
It's just ravens survive on a broad range of food. If any food was available outside the ark, the raven could survive. In contrast, a dove is much more selective in its food choices.
Yeah.
And the dove's choice of food would indicate that new life had begun to grow. Thus, Noah and his family could survive outside the ark.
Yeah. I can
see that,
yeah.
But it seemed like the sequence.
There's some symbolism there, isn't it?
Something there.
Yep.
To me, I don't know.
Well, the fact that it's Noah, and that means rest and comfort, and then it's a dove, and dove symbolizes,
like you pointed out that name,
and it's got
and Noah.
I believe it means
particular
all
thing,
that.
but it just seems like there's components that are
Yep.
You see it.
The Holy Spirit ascended upon Yeshua. He's baptized like a dove.
Like a dove. Yeah.
So many different things you look into there, and
Absolutely.
And this simplistic side, ravens will eat dead flesh. There's probably going to be some dead flesh floating here and there and all that right there, right? All right.
Have you seen it? Would he only had 2 ravens though?
Oh, that's wild. I ain't thought about that. Because now he ain't got 2 of them. Better hope the other one finds that one he sent out there, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know.
Well, we know he did, obviously.
Yeah, had to, because we got ravens. So that's interesting. I don't know.
Because it's the same thing with the birds. 7 clean.
That's
2
right.
unclean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Sure
there would
was.
only,
I think,
there would
if
only
I'm
been 2
remembering
of
it wrong, but
them.
I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
Take care of the
Yeah,
animal and the bird.
unclean, and then the clean animals, there were 7 of those.
Yeah.
It is birds of the heaven. Okay, I get. Wait. I don't know if can we consider birds beasts. It says of all the clean beasts, take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female, and of the beasts that are unclean too, a male and a female. Then it says, and of birds of the heavens,
I said birds are
7 pairs,
separate,
male and female,
separately.
to keep
Now,
offspring
it
alive.
tells us
So I don't know.
Later, what's unclean?
It
and
does,
unclean,
for the birds.
What birds are.
Yeah.
And a raven is definitely unclean. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Not that it means anything, but
Oh, I know, but it's cool to try and
Yeah.
figure all that stuff
Well,
out.
I mean,
Try
you know, well, it's going to mean something when we figure out what
Yeah.
it is. It's going
Exactly.
to mean something, and I don't know what.
Yeah.
I looked up when's the best time you were planting vineyard in Israel. It said wintertime, give the roots time to establish before the heat of the summer.
Well, heck yeah.
Okay. So if he was
Or it
on the
said
ark for a
early
year.
spring. It did say early spring as well, but it
Okay.
said late winter is best.
Yeah.
Or winter is best. So
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know.
All right.
At one time you had the whole timeline written out and it was really, really good. And then I think the first time you came, we talked about something and we couldn't figure out the timeline. And then after everybody left, John and Adam figured it out and I wrote it with dry erase marker.
And what? Dry
And
erase
it came-
board.
It's
Don't
gone.
ever do that. We gotta take a picture next
It's
time.
gone.
We'll do that.
I took a
Something like
picture.
that. You might have.
It would be on my phone. I may have taken a picture.
If we find it, we'll send it out there.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody understands it because y'all are like talking a different language, and I was trying to write it.
That's all right.
I know. But y'all figured it was perfect. It was like the perfect.
That's why there's
Timeline.
70 faces of the Torah, y'all, because it's going to take you 70 years to get all pieces, and you probably won't end either.
Yeah. And it's going to be like, 70 also is symbolic of the nations. So
Yeah, certainly. That's
it's
right.
going
Yeah,
to mean
yeah.
something different to each nation.
That's right. That's a good point. Let's see. The dove. Okay, we're verse 10. And he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out from the ark. And the dove came to him in the evening, and see, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in its mouth. And Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. And we know olive trees is symbolic of Israel and his people, right?
We did a study on olive trees one time. They could survive under the water.
Under the water for a long
time.
time.
And they are the first to bloom.
That's right. Like, that's scientifically proven there. That's well agriculturally proven. Yeah. And it came to be in the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the new moon. So if we want to say creation timeline, Jubilee time, that would be Yom Teruah, right? First day of the new moon in the first month.
I don't know.
Because we're talking about that would be the 7th new moon.
I think you need to do a
I know.
timeline later.
That the waters were dried up from the earth. The reason why I said it is because this was also a big picture now of this is done. The ground's dry and God is retaking the throne over the earth.
Right.
And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked and saw the surface of the ground was dry. And in the second new moon, on the 27th day of the new moon, the earth was dry. And Elohim spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every life form of all flesh that is with you, of birds, of cattle, and all creeping creatures, the creeping creatures of the earth, and let them teem on the earth, and bear and increase on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping creature, and every bird, whatever creeps on the earth according to their kinds, went out of the ark. Like I said, there's no commandment in this Torah portion, but there was one commandment, only one, in the first Torah portion, and that was be fruitful and multiply. So he's restating, this is like a renewed covenant almost, right?
Yeah,
the commandment didn't change, right?
But
But
it's different. It's with new group or
new group of people.
The group that's going to
Yep.
prolong.
So we're seeing here throughout, we're going to see the same thing throughout Scriptures. There are renewals of a covenant. That's a common thing. It was a common thing in that time that this was written. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Okay, 18, I think. Mm-hmm. So, is that right? So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. I already read that, didn't I? I'm sorry. 20. And Noah built a slaughter place to Yahweh, and took of every clean beast and of every clean bird. I know, right? And offered ascending offerings on the slaughter place. And Yahweh smelled a soothing fragrance. And Yahweh said in his heart, Never again shall I curse the ground because of man, although the inclination of man's heart is evil from his youth, and never again strike all living creatures as I have done, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. All right, chapter 9.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, you hear the argument all the time. God knows my heart.
Oh,
from right here was
that's
for
a good
the
one.
intention of man's heart is evil from his youth.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's awesome.
So
we all trying to get away
We
from
cannot use what our heart feels. I think people confuse. There can be spirit led, Holy Spirit led,
right?
But that's not always what our fleshly heart. I think people confuse that. I mean, I probably confuse it on a daily basis.
Me too.
But that's what your discernment has to be. Is But what your guide has to be is the Word. Like if the Holy Spirit's not going to guide me against God's Word.
That's right.
So if what I'm feeling, they says it can come from others. There can spirits of conviction can come from other places.
Sure can.
Always the correct spirit
Sure can.
leads us, and we can be spirit filled, but we have to discern that the spirit.
Right. Which one?
Right. But that's why you need a guide. You need a guide to allow you to know that. But I mean, you cannot say if that is God knows that our heart is evil from
absolutely
inception. That's what it's going. If you let it, that's where you'll go. It has to be a walking out of not going that route.
Yeah.
You're walking towards God and not away from Him, because if you go with your flesh, it'll take you straight away from Him. I just think that's.
I don't think I have ever seen that for some reason. I don't think I have seen that verse used like you just said right there. Like isn't there another one people use?
Your heart's deceitful.
Where's that one from?
That's in the New Testament, right?
Is it? I don't remember now. I can't remember where that verse is.
Let me Google it.
That's
it.
awesome that I've never even thought. I've never heard it said that way. That this one, and it makes total sense.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Another one to put in your back pocket.
Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things.
Yeah,
and
That's the one everybody uses,
said.
and it's saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
What this is saying that
I
you
will
said.
not curse you because I know that
Mm-hmm.
and it's from one man's
About that.
righteousness that saved humanity.
Wow. That's a cool one to put in my back pocket for that. When people say that, I've always thought of that one, the other one in Jeremiah.
Well, that's what I'm always thought too. And then I read it, I said, "Well, that's
Sure sounds like this.
It just stood out.
This is where it's established at right here. This is probably where Jeremiah.
Right here, this says, "I will never curse the ground again for man's sake."
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
all
that was the previous. That was the first
Oh.
curse. This one, that
That's
ain't
right.
the flood. So what is that about?
I don't
Because
know.
of the
Right. Never
imagination.
again shall I curse the ground because of man. So that's the first thing with Adam.
Yeah, and
And
then
Eve.
I will never again strike every living thing as I have done. So that's the flood, right?
Yeah, that would be striking every living creature. Okay, he's saying those two things that he's not going to do, right?
Yeah.
Two separate things. Never again shall I curse the ground because of man, although the inclination of man's heart is evil, as you. And never again strike all living creatures. It is two statements, two actions.
Right. Yeah.
First
Oh
being,
because
Yeah.
neither will I.
Right.
That's right.
You can't. It's not.
So it's Adam's rebellion, right?
Yeah.
And he cursed the ground,
Right.
Yeah.
and then all of mankind's rebellion.
Yeah.
And then he
And
did
then he
because here's a good point, right? We tend to think in modern, not I'll call it modern, but it's not modern. It's as far back as the time of Moses, right? Ancient Mesopotamian world. We think of mankind having multiple gods other than the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But you got to remember, at this time, pretty much. Well, no, there was only one God. Like the people upon the earth, that's what was so bad about them. It wasn't that they were worshiping other gods. It's that they were rebellious to God specifically. They knew He was the God.
Way to come up with other gods.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
That was way before creation of other things. There weren't other creation stories. You know what I'm saying? We were not. They were not separated so far from Adam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it Adam and Noah that would have known each other, or is or is it Seth and
I
Noah?
think it's past.
Or
Is
is
it?
it Seth
Yeah,
and
Adam and
Methuselah?
Noah would
Would have walked together,
Me and Casey
right?
had that chart at the house.
I
We
do.
every
We
time.
need that chart. I need to cover my.
It overlaps all of the
Yes,
lifespan.
it's
Yep.
cool.
And it's
Yeah.
like it may even be like 100 years.
Wasn't it like, I
that they
thought
were-
Something
Shem
like
was
that.
like Noah's granddaddy or something.
No, Shem's
So you mean
Noah.
Seth?
Maybe that's who I'm thinking
Yeah.
about. Was it?
It had to be a great granddad something. Because Methuselah.
But okay,
That was Noah's.
we're
Noah's
10
son.
generations
Yes.
from Adam. So it can't. Noah is 10 generations from Adam. So no, it can't be. I don't know
My
who
mama
his
said
granddaddy.
this chart
I'd have to.
starts with Noah. Not who. Not
yeah.
backed up.
I'd have to sit down and write it out. I don't know. I'm not going to say because I can't. I'd probably be wrong. But going to what we're talking about here, like this rebellion. I think you were talking about that.
Oh, I know where.
Do I have a chart?
Do you?
I said no.
I've got one in my Bible. I think you've got. Well, you don't have your scriptures one, do you?
Is it? See, if Lori was here, Lori would be like, it's on page that book.
Yeah. Here's the timeline of the flood. This is time Adam to Jacob.
You got it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
So see if we can follow.
Okay, so where's
Adam said. Okay,
Noah.
where's Noah? Right, that's Noah. Where's
well,
Noah? There's Noah.
no.
Noah didn't quite make.
So where's he? Who's he line up with? Every
Adam.
Seth.
Lamech.
Yeah, Seth.
Because Adam died right before Noah's birth. Right? Am I looking at the lines right? I'm gonna follow
I
down.
swear on
Yeah.
the chart we had it.
But Seth would have been living.
Enoch.
And Enoch.
Enoch. That was his granddaddy. That's who I was thinking about.
Okay.
Maybe. No. Hannah. Oh, well, Hannah may not be the same thing as Enoch.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm not.
Yeah, that's the first Enoch, right? That's the oldest.
Hanok, the first.
Or is that the Enoch?
Yeah.
It still shows him dying a little bit before Noah, so I
Wait.
don't think.
Hanok. No, he was taken up.
Oh, that's right.
So
That's
it's
right.
that would be
That's him.
that
Taking
would be
up.
Enoch.
Okay. So would that be?
But that's not him because he was born after he was taken up.
Yeah. So that can't be it. Lamech. I don't know who
He
I
could
was
be
thinking
any
about.
of these though that are.
Find it.
But you see,
knows?
how long Adam would have walked
Yeah.
with all of these.
I don't know.
So we're talking about mankind was not separated from God in who he was.
What is it's Methuselah is his
granddaddy.
Noah's granddaddy, and he would have walked with Adam
Right.
Okay.
for hundreds
Maybe that's what I
of
was
years.
thinking about.
So
Okay. Well,
And Methuselah would have what was
Look,
she?
y'all, I still ain't got over the sow's ear and the silk
Oh,
thing.
no.
I still ain't got over that. Y'all just don't know that devastated me. That just tore me all out of frame.
Oh,
my mom
the
used
silk
to
purse.
say that to me all the time.
We hold on to our tradition.
I
That's
really,
right.
really thought
Hey.
it was in there, so I still ain't got over that.
there's a bunch of those, and we've all probably got some. So yeah, where are we even?
We are on
9.
8:22 or 9.
Is it okay? 22. Yeah, I think it made the altar. Yeah, okay. 22. As long as the earth remains. Okay, we're done. We're on 9.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase and fill the earth." The renewed covenant here
Yeah, there it
again.
is.
Same exact commandment.
Same exact commandment. And the fear of you and the dread of you is on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the heavens, on all that creeps on the ground, and on all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they have been given. Every creeping creature that lives is food for you. I have given you all, as I gave the as I gave the green plants. But do not eat flesh with its life, its blood, but only your blood for your lives I require. From the hand of every beast I require it, and from the hand of man. From the hand of every man's brother I require the life of man. So this is blood for blood, y'all, right? This is, you can't murder. Don't murder. And if you notice, when we get to Mount Sinai, he gives specific commandments. When he says that even from the beast he requires it, right? So we're given that commandment at Mount Sinai about if you have an ox that gores somebody, right? That ox is going to be put down because of what it does to a man. It doesn't just get to do things. And
Pastor
not have-
Chad said that the eye for eye thing that everybody quotes, he said that's
yeah.
basically like an actuary table. Like if for you work at DuPont, like if you go in and God forbid your hand get cut off, they actually have like tables that says a man's hand
Value.
is worth $150,000 or
right.
whatever. But he said that's what an eye for an eye means instead of, how we see it as like I slap you, you slap me, that kind of
Right.
thing. But it's supposed to be like
Measure for
equal
measure.
weights and measures.
Right. Measure for measure.
So-
Yep.
That was kind of interesting.
Which
to me.
it's going to tie into the next weird esoteric story we're going to go into with Babel. So measure for measure is going to tie into that. So anyway, That was cool that you brought that up. Where was 6? Whoever, yeah.
Yes.
Whoever sheds, verse 6, whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood is shed, for in the image of Elohim has he made man. As for you, be fruitful and increase. Bring forth teemingly in the earth and increase in it. And Elohim spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living being that is with you, of the birds, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, of all that go out the ark, every beast of the earth. And I shall establish my covenant with you, and never again is all flesh cut off by the waters of the flood, and never again is there a flood to destroy the earth. And Elohim said, This is the sign of the covenant, which I make between me and you, and every living being that is with you, for all generations to come. I shall set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. And it shall be, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the rainbow shall be seen in the cloud. And I shall remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living being of all flesh, and never again let the waters become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the rainbow shall be in the cloud, and I shall see it, to remember the everlasting covenant between Elohim and every living being of all flesh that is on the earth. And Elohim said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. Now, did yours say bow?
No.
Really? I thought the oh wait, yours. Which version of that? Jerusalem.
This is the New Jerusalem.
New Jerusalem.
This is an ESV right here, and it says, "When the bow is in the clouds."
That's a better. Yeah, that's a better translation of it. I was thinking that's not New Jerusalem. There's the Jewish Bible. I can't remember what they call it. Anyway, I know it says bow.
Oh yeah, the complete Jewish
There you go. That's the complete Jewish Bible. It says bow. So context, right? We're talking about a bow. A king, when he conquers a people, a nation, he hangs up his bow. Like we went to war with his people, and he conquered a people, and now he is at rest. That's what rest really means, is enthronement. It's sitting on the throne. That's why it's important for us to recognize the Sabbath and to keep it holy, right? Right there in the very beginning in Genesis 1, God he proclaims that day as holy and set apart. And when we keep the Sabbath, when we honor the Sabbath, we're proclaiming to the world who our God, our King is, right? I worship and serve the God that created the universe. Mm-hmm. That's what you're telling everybody. Because he took this day and set it apart. He sat on his throne, right? He sat on his throne on this day, so I'm going to sit with him. You know what I mean? It's you're proclaiming it.
And when it says in the New Testament, like when Jesus sat down at the right hand of the Father.
Yep.
So it's basically like the Sabbath, I guess.
Right. Yeah. It's taking.
Yeah, it's like what you're saying. The king went to war, or God, made his work in the creation, and then he's sitting, and that is completed. That's what you.
That's right.
You can't do that until it's you complete. Yeah. The king can't rest. You can't truly rest until what you're trying to do is accomplished. Because even if you're physically sitting there, you're not. It's a different.
Right, you're not there.
It's I'm in my throne. I'm acknowledging what.
Yep. The accomplishment of it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
In that sense.
You created your kingdom now, right? And that to me is what's important. I think with all of it is going way back to the last Torah portion. I think we all need to recognize how important honoring the Sabbath is. I know there's situations that come up. There's things, and we live in a broken world. Some of us, because of situations, we have jobs that may require that. Mm-hmm. And you do your best to honor that Sabbath, and I did that for a while. After I knew I was supposed to keep the Sabbath, I still had to work, and I felt like, okay, I had to provide for my family.
Right.
Thanks.
Was that oldest.
I think so. Eventually worked out that I didn't have to any longer, but but then you know you've also got people that work in the fields that provide life to others, saving people, medical field, all those things. That's to me, that's no different than the priest or serving in the temple.
Yeah, I mean that
On Sabbath.
about what the priest had to do, that was a very involved thing.
That was work. That was hard work.
But they were, it was preserving life. It was preserving.
That's right.
Life, what
Yeah.
they were doing. They were working.
Exactly. It's no different than healing, but anyway, that I just wanted to say that's really, it's really important though that we do all we can to honor the Sabbath, and really, and if you don't have to work, don't do business if you can, right? This is do the commandment that's given to us in Exodus 20, right, for the Sabbath. Do that as best as you can do it, and that's proclaiming to the world who your God is, because ain't nobody else doing that.
Nope.
Right?
No,
ain't nobody else doing that,
It's
and
just
so
such an easy thing to distinguish from the world. Like,
that's right. People can see it, and they're like, "Why can't you go out to eat with us today?" And so, well, man, God told me to set this day apart.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing, because otherwise you just go about your way.
Right.
What we want to do is just go about, and it's
Yep.
it's so easy.
Well, see, that's where me and Jennifer were talking about the other day, because my new friend, he takes his children and grandchildren out to eat every Friday night, and that's a long-standing thing. They were doing that way yonder before they knew who I was, and so last Friday night I went with him, and because he wanted me to go and meet his children, but he knows that I don't do Friday night. If you want to do late evening on Saturday, that's fine. We'll do that. But I don't.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things.
I know.
It's.
Yeah.
I want to meet his family.
There comes into weightier matters.
That's exactly right.
What are you?
And
That's what I'm saying.
it's relationship. I would never, because he's been doing that for long before he knew me. I would never say, well, you've got to stop that. If you,
I know, right?
I can't, and I'm not going to. I don't even want to, because that's one of the things I like most about him, is because he loves his family so much, and he is there, and he, does things for them. I love that part. So
that's right. Yep.
And then I was going to say too, that the Pastor Chad said the word, when you asked me, it's the word bow and rainbow is the same thing in Hebrew.
Okay.
Cool.
And he said that it was applicable because the word Torah actually means to cast or to throw something. And so
I'm trying to remember what that is.
It's like with the bow, we are throwing the Torah when we because it's like an arrow, like that kind of thing. That's the imagery he said that we were.
I know that's an imagery too for like missing the mark and not sinning.
Yeah, saying imagine.
Like it's the terminology of shooting a bow and hitting the mark or missing the mark.
Right.
Yep.
Just thought that was kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Exodus 31.
Yeah.
13. Surely my Sabbaths you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am the Lord who sanctifies. So that's your wedding band. It's your wedding band.
It's just like the same thing saying this bow in the sky is a sign that this will happen. This is a sign
that we proclaim him as king.
The same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure is. Yep. All right, verse 18. And the sons of Noah who went out from the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah. And all the earth was overspread from them. All right. I'm going to keep going for right now. And Noah, a man of the soil, began and planted a vineyard. There's your thing on that. He wasn't a carpenter. He was a man of the soil, right? He was a farmer.
No, it said began to be a man of the soul.
Oh, hey, okay.
He began.
And Noah,
to be
a man.
Yeah.
So it's saying like what I got. He's the first.
Wow.
He's got to be.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Began and planted a vineyard. Yeah.
Okay, well, so if Adam and all them are out, because it said that's what God said to them, they will have you like now you're out of the garden, you will have to work the ground
the soil,
to
yeah.
get your harvest.
Well, he did. He
But
did
then-
away
but
with the
now
curse
he's-
right over here.
Yeah.
And so now he did away with the curse, and now Noah's fixing to plant a vineyard.
Huh.
How about that?
Okay.
Do y'all know how long it takes to get grapes and then to make grapes into wine?
Oh, I know.
It's like in 2 sentences.
I know, you
plant
feel
a
like-
vineyard and then got drunk.
Yeah.
But
Today
it
and then
takes
tomorrow.
forever.
That's eschatology, though.
Okay.
That is what that is what that means, because like the big it's I forgot what it's called, but it's like whenever they get into Canaan, you know how the symbol of the big grapes, you know, when they're getting into that's supposed to be one of the things that happens when Jesus comes back, is that the promised land is just going to be lush, and we're going to have fat grapes, and they're going to produce way more. Like one grape is going to produce like gallons and gallons of wine. That's
Right.
some kind of.
Okay.
I heard that
Never
teaching.
heard that.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of think about when they're told to go spy out the promised land.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it said what their grape clusters are like one man can't carry
Right,
it, right?
right,
Or something.
right.
But that was already established.
Well, yeah, I'm
He's
just saying
fixing to
it's-
establish something
yeah.
new. That takes a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Although I imagine the earth was very fertile.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what it says.
Atmosphere,
He just did away with the curse.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
I'm
back
just
in
saying,
the
when
thing.
our creek floods, stuff just
Ground's fertile
yes,
then,
it
right?
just go,
Oh, well,
yeah.
he
Well, y'all would have been a lot of fertilizer around
lot of
because there's a
fertilizer,
lot of dead
a lot of
animals.
dead- yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, but you do have to factor in there is a some kind of time span to
Yeah.
have it.
That's right.
Oh,
happen
yeah.
immediately
Pop in a
overnight.
grape seed and then make the water without
Yeah.
drinking wine.
All right. And he drank of the wine and was drunk and became uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brothers outside. So Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father.
Get a cat. That cat can't go outside. The rest of them should just stay outside.
Okay, y'all got it? Okay, but their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and he knew what his younger son had done to him. And he said, Cursed is Canaan, let him become a servant of servants to his brothers. And he said, Blessed be Yahweh, the Elohim of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. Let Elohim enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. So all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Okay, so there's this uncover of nakedness situation here, and what does it mean? And if you get later on into the Torah and you see commandments that are given, like it says, uncovering nakedness means laying with someone, or it's when it says not to have sexual relations with your father's wife, because it is uncovering your father's nakedness, right? So it's that possibility.
One night
Probably.
has a really great video on the 3 or
Yeah.
4 theories,
Interpretations.
interpretations about this.
of what that is, right? So, yeah.
I see she's toward my
We got a cat situation right here that I think we should drop them off at the Bemis house.
No.
They-
Yay! I heard they were in need of some more cats.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
the case. You're wrong.
So it's a possibility on what this is. Maybe he passed out and there was relations between
And Canaan was a product
product of
that.
Canaan would have been a product of
That's
that
why Canaan was
relationship. That's
But you
right.
would see, there's also you have to factor in there's a time frame because he can't see that happen, and then he's got to be born. From
That's right.
That union.
Yeah.
And then this curse
For him to do it. So you're talking about gotta be some time
Yeah. So
between this incident and the blessing and cursing that's going
Right.
on here, right? And we can talk real quick about the nations. We're fixing to jump into the genealogy real quick, real fast. So we've got Shem. Remember, that's the one that he basically blessed and said, "Blessed be Yahweh, the Elohim of Shem." Okay, Shem is the Semitic people. They're the Arab people. They're also Semite. When we
come from the word Shem.
Shemite. He's a Shemite, right? So the people are the Shemite people, which is the Arab world. Which, if you're looking at a map and you see Africa, and you picture the top right corner, the northeast corner, up Israel, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Mesopotamia, that section of the world is Shem's world. That's where his people, which we're going to see the genealogy of some of them, and you're going to. Reason why I can tell you all this is because the names, the places are named after people, and so these names we're going to see, you'll see them pop up as cities, and we know where those cities were. And then, okay, now Ham. Ham, is Canaan, right? That the land of Canaan, right there. It's that little bit of sliver and down into Africa. Okay, the people in Africa would have been from line of Ham. There's Japheth, and it says Japheth basically is enlarged his house, right? The people of Japheth, the genealogy, you follow it through. It is the people in like Asia. Russia, Asia.
That's a huge
land
span.
Huge land spans, and then goes into like the Caucasian people are considered Japheth, line of Japheth, and even the Oriental people are same line of Japheth. And Japheth will, what does it say there about Japheth in the tents of Shem? And he said, "Blessed be Yahweh, the Elohim of Shem." Okay, and let Elohim enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem. And let Canaan become his servant. So I don't know. It's really weird to think about that. Like, what does it mean to live in someone's tent?
You want my commentary?
Yeah.
This means that spiritual blessings would come to the Japhethites through the God of Shem and the line of Shem from which Messiah would come.
Okay, so yeah, that's the line I was going to take. I was wondering if you were going to say the same thing. Yeah. So we have, if we say Caucasian people, okay, are going to be blessed through the house of Shem, that the Messiah comes from. Majority of the Christian world would have been of the line of Japheth. Christian world. We're talking about the Roman Catholic Church, right? Then the Protestant church that stems off from that. And then we had that in Europe. We have France and Spain and England, and those nations go out and they colonize the world. You know, and here we are in western part of the world, in America. We've been blessed, you know, and we're blessed because we were in the beginning more so a godly nation. You know, we separate ourselves from the Torah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
What I mean is, our nation was created on a Judeo-Christian ideal, right? So our nation honored God the way they knew to honor God, right? Even not so far back as say 75 years. At least they honored the Sunday, Sabbath. Whoever saw in our country, or at least in this area, you didn't do business. You know, you shut down your store. You shut down the grocery store. You didn't. We just read that article about Kinston over there, about that mayor that was running back in the 20s, 30s, and his campaign was that he was going to clean Kinston up. And he was going to make it a law that you couldn't have your business open on Sunday. You know, that was cleaning the place up. You know, what I mean is our country was created on it, and so we were blessed.
Well, 1800s it was illegal to have Christmas tree and do Christmas.
True, but we've grown further away from those ideals. But we're the most powerful nation in the world right now. I mean, everybody turns to us. Ish.
It
Yeah.
ain't looking
Right.
too
It
good,
ain't
though.
looking as great as it was when
It
I
ain't
was
looking
younger,
as good as it
but
was.
but definitely the world, usually the world turns to us, to our nation, for guidance, protection, that kind of things, right? So, like you said, through Shem's tent, we were blessed because of Yeshua, who comes from Shem, right? Remember, Shem is the righteous line that we're going to end up with Abraham. Abraham's coming from this line, and then David comes from there, and then Yeshua comes from there. You know, so all right. So that's the 70 nations that we're going to see. Remember, Shem is the Shemites, the Arab, which is why when people say anti-Semitic or someone being Semitic, right? It's
a whole lot broader group than what
exactly, and it's so wild
Because you think just Jews are
we just
Semitic.
think Jews, but it's so crazy that when we think about with the Arab world and its conflict with the nation state of Israel, right, or the Jewish people, and you think that it tells you how definitions have changed over time, right? Because we're like, well, to being anti-Semitic means you support these Arabs that are against it. Wait a minute, they're both Semites. You know? So anyway, so all right.
Which to get back to the whole like Hamas thing, like
Yeah.
So you support a group that proclaims their name to be violent. So,
I know, right?
It's just how the world works. You know, everybody's on such a
backwards.
superficial level on most stuff that they don't even know what to talk about. Like,
Yeah.
That's the truth.
All right, here we go with the genealogy and the names. All right, and this is the genealogy of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth: Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Yawan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer: Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Yawan: Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim, and Dodanim. From these, the coastland peoples of the nations were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their clans, into their nations. And the sons of Ham: Cush, and Mitzrayim, and Put, and Canaan. So, there, real quick, we got Ham, right? Sons of Ham. Cush. Doggone it. Moses' wife. Yes. Ethiopia. Cush is Ethiopia. She was Zipporah was a Cushite woman. So she was from that line. Which that to me is amazing and beautiful because you still have this cursed line, okay, right?
But you can be grafted in.
Right, exactly. But I will say this, she wasn't from Canaan. Right, there is a difference. So Ham had these Cush, Mitzrayim, and Mitzrayim is Egypt. That is Egypt.
That makes you think that much more that Canaan came from that interaction because
it's like he's separate from them other kids.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, you know, he's that weird incestual thing going on over here, right? And why are they when the Israelites come into the land of Canaan, are supposed to pretty much wipe them out?
What is that?
That's my phone.
Oh gosh, that scared me.
Have we gone too long? Your folks are looking for you. What time is it? We got to go.
I want to be very careful not to answer this here phone call, y'all. You see that?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my daughter-in-law. The one in
Let's
not let that thing ring.
All right.
All right, let's just carry on with our life.
Oh my goodness. All right. All right, verse 7. And the sons of Cush.
Duct tape.
We are talking about the Cushites.
Oh boy. And the sons of Cush: Sabah, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Ramah, and Sateka. And the sons of Ramah: Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush brought forth Nimrod.
Boo.
Yeah. By the way, there's opinions on whether or not this is a name or a title. Okay, so it could be a title, by the way, Nimrod. So the mighty hunter before Yahweh, because it says that. You know what I mean? All right. In the beginning, And the beginning of his reign was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, and the land in the land of Shinar. So Nimrod made these 4 cities, right? From that land, he went to Ashur, which is Syria in your English Bibles, and built Nineveh. How about that? We know Nineveh, right? Mm-hmm. In the story of Jonah. And where does God send him? To get them to turn back to God, and he will give them mercy and grace. Mm-hmm. Nineveh is not even from the line of Shem. Mm-hmm. They're not even Israelites. They're not, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about, so God is him turning back to God is for everybody. It's for the world. That's what the goal is. Mm-hmm. And Rehoboth, and Calah. Okay, and Resen between Nineveh and Calah, the great city. So it looks like people are starting to build cities, right?
I've read this somewhere, but like Nineveh, I think the city of Nineveh had like really walls.
Right.
Yeah, they built walls, and up until this time,
there was
no need for walls. So
right.
Who's attacking you? It's just like he Nimrod or whoever was a war and started war tactics, and so
exactly. It's pretty much scholars will say this is the first instance of warfare being a thing. It wasn't a thing till now.
You kind of you said that the world was full of violence before that.
Right.
That's more so. I just think
man on man, just one person, like neighbors.
Chaos, like not like a force and a force.
That's right. People sort of realize, hey, we can bring resources together.
Right.
And now, hey, those people have some resources. We as a group can go take their resources. And it started, so that's where war began, right? And then they said, well, doggone it, we attacked these people, and some of them got away, half of them left, we took their stuff. Well, they're going to come get us back. Somebody's going to want revenge. Maybe they're friends. If we do
this to enough people and some survive, then they may.
That's right. So that's when they started building walls.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's who Nimrod was known as, right? When it says great hunter, it doesn't mean a great hunter of animals. People, that was done. It's not. It really means hunter of men, right? So.
And what does end time say? If you don't get caught up by that net, God's sending out them. God
sending out hunters to reach you from the crevices of the rock.
But he was not a God of man, Nimrod wasn't.
Right.
That's not what I mean.
Yeah. But you even know what that language meant in that time. Say that what that reference to more likely.
Yep. Okay, and Mitzrayim brought forth Ludim, and Anamim, and Lehabim, and Nephtuhim, and Petrusim, and Kesluhim, from whom came the Philistines, and Caphtorim. And Canaan brought forth Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hittite, and the Archite, and the Sinite. Okay, so all those, from Mitzrayim, right, in his line. And the Arvadite, and we hear about all those again, right? All those people. Enemies of Israel.
Yeah.
And the Arvadite, and the Semirite, and the Hamathite. And afterward, the clans of the Canaanites were spread abroad. Okay. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as you go toward Gerar, as far as Azal, as you go toward Sidon, and Amorah, Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And that, who we're talking about in y'all's Bible, I think. And Admah and Seboyim, as far as Lashah. These were the sons of Ham, according to their clans, according to their languages, in their lands, in their nations. And also to Shem, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder. Children were born. The sons of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Arpachshad, and Lud, and Aram. And the sons of Aram, Uts, and Hul, and Gether, and Mosh. And Arpachshad brought forth Shelah, and Shelah brought forth Eber. And to Eber were born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided and his brother's name was Yoktan. Yoktan brought forth Obadad and Sheleph, and this is the hard one I always struggle with, and Hartzamaweth. Hartzamaweth. That's always been a hard one for me when I get to it. And Yorah. Okay, and Hadaram and Uzal and Dequala. That's a tough one too, because the Q and the L do not go good together. And Obal and Abimael. Notice these have L and stuff, some of them. And Sheba and Ophir and Havilah and Jobab. And these were sons of Yoktan. And their dwelling place was from Mishah, as you go towards Sephar, a mountain of the east. These were the sons of Shem, according to their clans, according to their languages, in their lands, according to their nations. These were the clans of the sons of Noah, according to their generations and their nations. And from these the nations were divided on the earth after the flood. So, I will point out that it says according to their languages in their lands. I don't think that is saying that during, these people before Babel had a different language. Because we're going to find out, it tells us in the story of Babel that everybody spoke the same language. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's telling us, it's giving us a history from after Babel. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how that's all going to go.
This looks ahead to
ahead. There you go. Go ahead and put looking ahead, right? All right. And all the earth had one language. There you go. And one speech.
Did we talk about it? It's just assumed that was Hebrew that they were speaking?
I kind of touched on it when we were talking about the building of the ark and the speech, Lahash, right? Lashon, Lashon. Yeah, that speech being what was the divine speech, right? Right. So that's where we're going to get into it again. All right. I got to go to the bathroom. Y'all talk about yourself.
So, I've heard a lot of teaching on what was what considered the holy tongue. I believe it was Hebrew.
I do too.
I
truly do.
Well, I feel like because even I didn't realize it. About 100 years ago, really Hebrew had gone extinct almost. Or there's more modern Hebrew, but it was because of the rabbis. They declared that you couldn't speak it, like it was totally. So they just kind of like God, the whole name situation.
It was so Kadesh.
Right. It was holy, and that's when, I can't remember, it's a man and his wife, they were a couple, but he was a professor, and he studied and brought it back, but it was, he was very like ostracized and he was Jewish. Wow. And he was cast out of the community. Mm-hmm. But he did, and from that is how if it wasn't for that, it reopened Hebrew to the modern world.
Yeah, they say that about Native American language. Cherokee. Mm-hmm. And they have to practice it to keep it because not everybody speaks anymore. Yeah. But that Cherokee is based off Hebrew. A lot of the words are the same.
I've heard something about that.
And I think they got the Shema on a big thing up in Cherokee.
That man and his wife, they only spoke Hebrew to each other. Mm-hmm. And that's how, with their children, they only spoke, his kids would go out and speak, wherever they were in Europe. But I think they spoke English. But that's all they did. And then it was, so they would ingrain it, so they could actually do it. But it was.
That's more. Oh, I wish I could learn Hebrew.
I think it was like in the 1920s, I believe. Either late 1800s or 1920s.
We'll need like an intermission on this one.
Well, somebody didn't talk so much.
I know, right? Dang it, Adam.
Addison, you need to be quiet. You're dragging us out.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So, our first cousin was in an accident.
Oh, no.
Oh, what in the world?
Is that the cue when we find out somebody's hurt?
I know, right? Yeah. It lasts 2 times.
No, she died.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I didn't know. That's why Jessica was calling me. I thought she had some evil intentions.
Do you need to go?
No. She is my first cousin.
Where? What?
But I haven't seen her in like 3 years. We never talked. I mean, I'm sorry.
Right,
I'm sorry.
I know, yeah.
Sorry.
Right, yeah.
But we're not close.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, you got to take those away.
So evidently it's just happened.
In what county?
She's in Mount Olive.
Gosh, it sucks.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it was a car accident. Because the last post on her Facebook says there's frost on my car this morning.
What
That
world?
was today.
And so, yeah. And it was 8 hours ago. So evidently she's in I just hate it so bad. She has a son that's 20.
Oh, gosh.
23, 4,
Yeah.
5. Because he's older than that because he's not. I think he's not quite as old as Miranda. Miranda's 35. Okay, y'all. He's old. Okay, just took me a minute to get there because he's, in my opinion, like a child. I just hate that.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So everyone's speaking one language and one speech.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
it is. Okay.
Yep. And it came to be as they set out from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone, and had asphalt for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is in the heavens, and make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered over all the face of the earth." First of all, what did God command them to do after they got off the ark? It was to go
Disperse.
go fill up the earth again, right?
Yeah.
And here they are being rebellious again, right? Lest we be scattered, right? And they're also trying to make a name for themselves, right? That's not same mess, right? Building a city like Cain did, right? Name the city after his son, and like making a name for yourself rather than living for Yahweh and being an idol of Yahweh, right? Being a representation of who He is. We'll go a little further before we get into some weird, crazy
I
stuff.
got the Strongs. I'm ready.
Do you?
I'm on it. When you come back to it.
Oh, okay. Wait, for which one? I'm sorry.
The word plain.
Plain, yes. Okay. Y'all want to go further? Okay, yeah, I will. Then Yahweh came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And Yahweh said, "Look, they are one people and they all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. And now they are not going to be withheld from doing whatever they plan to do." Remember that, like God's saying, they can almost do anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
"Come, let us go there and confuse their language, so that they do not understand one another's speech." And Yahweh scattered them from there over the face of all the earth, and they left off building the city. What are you doing over there, girl?
So I was highlighting stuff.
Oh, I couldn't see behind there. I was like, "Are you playing with blocks over there, building stuff?" Thought you were building a tower over there. That is why its name was called Babel, because there Yahweh confused the language of all the earth, and from there Yahweh scattered them over the face of all the earth. This is the genealogy of Shem.
Oh.
Okay, you want to stop and see what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about the word plain.
Okay, so they want to build a tower, and they want to build it up to the heavens, is what it's saying, right? Look,
I got some buffalo chicken dip too. If you want me to eat that up, I got a little serving up. Oh my God!
Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower. It says, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower, whose top is in the heavens."
Exactly.
All right, so we got to ask ourselves a question: why in the world would they choose to build a tower in the plains? The plains is down low.
Yeah.
Right?
Flat plain.
There's mountains. If I'm going to build a tower that I'm going to say I want to reach the heavens, I think I'd save me a little bit of work and start on top of the mountain. Right? So, that word,
That is
let's go look at the word plain. Okay, because that's what we're questioning. Why would they build it
Now, what
in a
verse
plain?
am I in?
Okay, so first, the very verse 2, right? And that they found a plain in the land of Shinar. See that, and they dwelt
Found a
there.
plane. Okay.
And then in verse 4 it says, they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower, whose top is in the heavens, and make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered over all the face of the earth." Okay, that word for plain,
actually means valley.
right? But valley. Okay, so
Why in the world would
so-
they build a tower in a valley?
but this is not a good translation. This is Strong's translation, which is an okay translation. But what I'm saying is, you can't rely on Strong's all the time. You gotta. Strong's is telling us that it's valley, also plain, also right. But a split, okay, an uncovering, right? To uncover something. Now we're going to go down on another weird. This is
Remember, it's on the spot.
rabbinical writing and things like that, and they're trying to figure out what were these people actually doing. Because why does God say? Why does it almost seem like God feels threatened? Like God can't be threatened. First of all, right? He can't be. God can do anything. He can control everything. He's sovereign, right?
Uh-huh.
But why does he have to say, like, look, they are one people and they all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. So he's making statements there about their language, right? They all have one language, so that has to be a factor of how they're doing whatever it is they're doing that is a threat, right? He says, and this is what they do with it. This is what they begin to do with this one language that they have right now, right? Because he's saying, look, they are one people, and they all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. And now they're not going to be withheld from doing whatever they plan to do. So they can, because of this one language, this ability that they have, they can do whatever they want to do. And we can't have this. They are. All right, let me back up before you make this next statement. Plain. Going back to the word plain and being a valley, is or a uncovering. It's a split. Split. When you split something open, you're opening it up. Right?
Okay.
Split something open. You open. Like take an apple. I split an apple open. I can see inside of it. Right? Okay.
Here you go.
This plain.
Well, thank you.
It said they found a plain. Right?
Yeah.
They found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. What if this divine language, right? Remember, Noah had a divine language, that Lashon, creating things, right? They knew imminent destruction is coming, the flood. They hide this knowledge of a divine language and how to use it. We're told, and we'll go back to the
Jewish mysticism
right. We're
stuff,
gonna go
but it
back
sure
to
is
the
odd.
last Torah portion though. And the last Torah portion, we talked about one of the reasons behind this statement, but I'm going to give you the other side of the statement, where it talks about in the time of, was it the time of Enoch? Man began to call upon God. Where is that out? It's chapter 4.
People called on the name of God.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. There it is. Chapter 4, verse 26. And to Seth, to him also a son was born, and he called his name Enosh. Then it was begun to call on the name of Yahweh. Okay? So, one reasoning we talked about last week, I think I mentioned it, was the line of Shem being followers of God, the righteous line. There's another interpretation of that. It is the exact opposite of that interpretation. It is that during this time, man began to call on the divine councils, the gods, the many gods, the little gods, right? Little g gods. So, there's only one language, and it's the language of creation. Mankind has it, Adam has it, right? And it's what they speak. But during that time, there Seth, man started to use it in an evil way. Or, right, that gift that they had, calling on angels to do their beckoning, right? And so that was the reason for the flood, was because of that, right? And I think about it like this: if that is true, it makes sense, because look at the world we live in today and how evil it is. And I'm like, God ain't judging this yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. He ain't bringing on. I'm like, what in the world could they be doing? Yeah, right? So how bad could it have been? Dang. And I'm like, okay, well, this reasoning kind of looks like it could be a possibility that, well, about the only doggone thing worse in our situation right now is that people were actually using, divine language to manipulate things of the divine counsel.
That it was true Hebrew was, like the rabbis and the people that they didn't want people to learn and speak.
That's what I thought
it
is.
May not still have the actual
truth, real truth.
It's closer. It's closer, but
it's not the pure Hebrew.
If you had something with that much power, man's probably not going to use it for what he's supposed to.
That's right. Man's inclination is always to be greedy, to be, control other people. So if you have this divine language that you know how to use to call upon the divine beings, then you would use it to control someone else, right? And so remember, they were killing each other, right? So God judged. Now, this knowledge that they may have had, that they hid it when they knew it was coming. And here we are after the flood. Generations go by, and they stumble upon a plane. They find a plane. They uncover. A plane is, in this sense, is really saying uncover. And now they have this knowledge of this thing again. So that's why the judgment makes sense. Why it's measure for measure now, like we were talking about. That's why I said what you said is feeds right into this. I mean, it's the measure for measure punishment is you're using language to rebel against me, right? You're trying to speak and build this thing. It may not even be a tower, okay? There is another rabbi from I think the 1700s, not too far back, but 250 years before NASA, has a commentary on the Tower of Babel. He describes that these bricks, the Hebrew words for come let us make bricks and bake them, it is really means fire. Gosh, how's it work? I had to look it up again in Strong's, but fire, like it's fire on top of fire.
It's to burn.
Burn. It's burn to burn. It's if you look
set on fire, to cause a fire.
Burn to burn. Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all what he's saying here. This was a 18th century rabbi writing this. That they were creating a ship. Because in his mind, he's thinking ship like a boat, right? But it could fly on fire like a rocket. Okay, this is 250 years before NASA. Okay, that he had this thought of what this scripture means to him using the Hebrew language, right? And that they had this ability because of the Hebrew divine language to create these things and the knowledge and to use the angels for it, and the angels would teach him. We can read in the book of Enoch, the watchers that teach people how to make things. They're teaching people how to make weapons of war and all sorts of stuff,
Oh, yeah.
And so maybe that's where they are, and because this God is saying, okay, if you're doing that, your judgment is you're not going to know that language any longer, right? So Yeah, I think that's about it for that one.
Mm-hmm.
You remember anything with it?
Nope, that's it.
So,
Move on.
all right. Yeah. Where are we?
That's pretty cool though.
We're at the very end of it, right?
It is.
So, oh my goodness. Where?
Shem's the
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. Verse 10. This is the genealogy of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and brought forth Arpachshad 2 years after the flood. And after he brought forth Arpachshad, Shem lived 500 years and brought forth sons and daughters. And Arpachshad lived 35 years and brought forth Shelah. And after he brought forth Shelah, Arpachshad lived 403 years and brought forth sons and daughters. And Shelah lived 30 years and brought forth Eber. And after he brought forth Eber, Shelah lived 403 years and brought forth sons and daughters. And Eber lived 34 years and brought forth Peleg. And after he brought forth Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and brought forth sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and brought forth Reu. And after he brought forth Reu, Peleg lived 209 years and brought forth sons and daughters. And Reu lived 32 years and brought forth Serug. And after he brought forth Serug, Reu lived 207 years and brought forth sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years and brought forth Nahor. And after he brought forth Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and brought forth sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 29 years and brought forth Terah. And after he brought forth Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and brought forth sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and brought forth Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And this, do I go to the end of the chapter?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Couldn't remember. This is the genealogy of Terah. Terah brought, I already read that. I'm sorry.
They did.
No, I didn't? Okay. And this is the genealogy of Terah. Terah brought forth Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran brought forth Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his birth in Ur-Kasdim. And Abram and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarah, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Yiscah. And Sarah was barren, she had no child. And Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarah, his son Abram's wife, and they went out with them from Ur-Kasdim to go to the land of Canaan. And they came to Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah came to be 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Alright, that's the introduction. That was a weird looking picture of that light right there. Anyway.
It was.
Right. Introduction to Abraham and Sarah and Lot, his nephew, and that'll be next time. Y'all got anything else before I cut this off?
Ain't nobody out there.
Everybody
I know what she done.
going
She
to
done.
bed.
Oh my God! I thought the live podcast was long. Good.
Bye, y'all.